Listen to me, motherfucker. I'm talking. I say horrible things sometimes because I think they're funny. My podcast is a verbal mosh pit because it's just me pinwheeling around. You don't know where the fuck I'm going to wind up, and I generally have no idea when it's going to end or start. I'm responsible for this whole goddamn thing. I want a little respect from you people. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. How are you folks? I am fine. Thanks for asking. I know everybody asks. They all ask. Everybody, this is a conversation. This is a dialogue. This isn't just a guy. I'm not talking at you folks. I'm talking with you folks. I can't fucking hear you. I'll be honest with you. You can talk to me all you want, but that's whatever. Oh, so all right. I'm gonna go right. I'm gonna get right to the point here. I'm gonna get into this real fast. There are listeners to the show who are nice people, who are kind people, and I shouldn't even talk about this. What the hell I'm going to? There's I have these people who listen to my show, and they're nice. I've had contact with them, and I've actually plugged their show on here before. They do a podcast in Canada, and it is a gentleman named Michael M. Michaels and a woman named Sandra D. Sanchez, and they do a show called the Return to Sender podcast, Junk Mail of the Mind, and they're very nice, and they've contacted me, and I've listened to the show, and it's a funny show. Sandra is to me crazy funny. I think she's very funny. So she wrote me. She's been writing. She writes me long notes on Facebook. She's written me notes, and which is nice. A very pleasant girl. And then she writes me a note, and I waited to answer it. But then when I answered it bullet point style, which I will do if people write me a long note. I will take their note and then dissect it because I am nothing if not an anal jerk, folks. I can't just say yes. Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You know what I mean? I can't do that. I unfortunately have to, and this is why I'm behind in my email. I just cleared out my Facebook box, which was tough. That was like fucking 60 different emails that I had to send, and now I have my regular email that I have to send. So folks, please know if you've sent me an email, it's in the queue. It's going to get written. I'm going to write to you, I promise. And you know what? Why don't I do this as I go ahead? This particular moment of me promising people that I will definitely send them something is brought to you by M. Jeffrey. How about my friend M. Jeffrey? I'll go ahead and throw him as the person who went ahead and sponsored this this admission of my ineptitude. Take that, M. Jeffrey. All right. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. Folks, I tried to do that on the fly. I already mentioned M. Jeffrey.
Oh, no.
Yeah. M. Jeffrey, I like you. You didn't sponsor this. Your sponsorship is taken back. Actually, you know what, M. Jeffrey? You fucking owe me, pal. After that, you need to cough up because right there, I just said you sponsored and you didn't. You absolutely did not. So you're done, pal. I take that back. You know what, folks? Go back and forget I even said the name of that person with an initial and a long name. No, this segment is brought to us by our friend Chris. Chris W. Chris will know who he is, I think. Yes, that's right, Chris W. All right, so so terrible. So that was this admission of my ridiculousness is brought to you by our friend Chris W. Okay. And now I lost track because you know what, folks? I didn't have that handy, so I thought it'd be cute, and I'd go fish it out of my goddamn notepad, and then now I've lost complete track of what the fuck I was talking about. Bullet point notes. So what I will do is I will take a note and I will break it down and I will write back and I will write things. So Sandra wrote me a very long note. So then I said, all right, here we go, bullet point style. And I broke it down and I wrote her answers to every single question. Because that's the thing is people will ask me like 30 questions in an email and then I can't let those pass. I can't just say, all right. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. No, I have to answer all of your questions, sadly. Because it is one of the D's. Which D is it? It's the OCD that makes me answer the questions. I have plenty of D's. I got a big D. All right, so I don't know what to tell you folks, except for the fact that our good friend... Stop hitting. Don't hit. You're not... Oh, Jesus, you knocked over your cane. Folks, this is the oldest show in radio or podcasting. My producer just knocked over her cane. I'm an old ancient person whose wife refuses to acknowledge her creeping age. My wife, look, I love my wife, okay, but I'll go, man, I'm old, and she'll go, you're not old. And I go, look, I know that I'm old. You might want to prefer to think that you're not old, which is fine. You can live the way you want to live, but I will tell you that I'm not old. And then my wife will have a staring contest with me for 4 hours, and then we'll have a fight. All right. Oh fuck! Don't get me started on that. All right, so. Folks, it's horrible. It's just horrible. I need a lawyer. God damn it. What the hell is going on with me and my wife? It's crazy. You need kids. You know why? Or else you'll kill one another. You just need to have kids. I need to go to China and steal some fucking shrimp. That's what I need to do. I gotta go scoop up a baby out of China. I can't just go there and get one, right? Won't they? Oh, maybe they will, right? Aren't they? They're not supposed to have, like, what is it? 2 girls and 1 boy, 2 boys, or one of each, right? That's what they have in China. 2 girls and 1 cup. One China cup. So yeah, I could just go there and get a kid, right? They're fucking squeezing them out. They're shooting them out like that woman getting hit in the face with the watermelon in Amazing Race. That's what China vaginas are like. You go to China. China vaginas are like the watermelon slingshot in the Amazing Race clip. You just walk in, it's like bam, bam, bam. You're walking through fucking Zhengzhou province, and all of a sudden, whack! You get hit in the face with an embryo. God damn it! Close your legs, Ling Chow. I don't want a fucking face full of afterbirth and a fetus in my ear. God damn it, that's funny. You know what, folks? I tried to keep the momentum going and just keep running downhill there, but I had to stop and put on a fucking speed bump of laughter because Jesus Christ, was that funny. A face full of afterbirth and a fetus in my ear. Holy shit. Fuck everybody who doesn't listen to this show, and I mean it. And I know the people who aren't listening right now don't care, but I don't fucking care about you either, you dicks. Because this show is great. Oh, I gotta do a dance. All right. I'm a little worked up, folks. I'm a little worked up. So I go bullet point style with my friend, Sandra D. Sanchez, who I will tell you this is weird. All right, my friend Michael M. Michaels, who hosts that show, he, folks, here's a secret. All right, I'm just throwing it at you. And this is my guess. I don't really know for sure because they're off in Canada and I'm here in America. I'm here in the real world and they're up in a Christmas book. But I'm going to guess that's not his real name. All right, I'm just going to say that. Maybe part of it is. Because then Sandra D. Sanchez is writing me notes on Facebook. Fantastic, that's her name. And then she sends me a personal email, different name on it. Yes, so I don't know if she... but she's like a mailman. They're sneaky, right? Like she could be getting... she might know there's different ways to do postage, and she uses different names for different... Maybe, you know what? This could be a complete protest against email by this girl. Because she makes her living with regular mail, and she sees email nipping at her heels, coming up and trying to take their jobs away. So she's like throwing email crazy aliases to try and fool it. Ha-ha! She's going to put email in its place. She's going to tame email. Because she's out there with her fucking, her comfortable shoes and her saddlebag, giving people letters of bad news that they don't want to hear. That's what she's doing. Traipsing through the ghetto and handing people fucking bills. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know how you male people handle your lives. Male women, male men. Are you male women? That seems weird. Like male women? Male persons? Fuck all that. Speedy McZip code. That's what they should all be. Speedy. I have, you know what? It's funny. I will tell you this. I had a woman who listens to the show. Wonderful lady. And she wrote me in was it Emily? I think it was our friend Emily. Let's see if this is someone who is sponsored. Maybe I can mention her. This section will be sponsored by, you know what? Yes, let's. I will. I don't think it was Emily though who wrote me. This segment is brought to us by Emily G, and this is Emily's 3rd time sponsoring. Wow. Good for you, Emily. Thank you so much for doing that. We appreciate it. So this, I don't even know what this is, but whatever it is, it's being sponsored by Emily. I don't know what we call this segment. An assault on male person? Sure. An indictment of probably the last functioning government thing that works perfectly. Literally, you put 40 cents on a piece of paper, and they bring it across the country for you. Although in Canada, I don't think that's the way it works. In Canada, there's like one universal mail depot in Canada where you have to drop them, just a pile of letters, and these guys come along with snow shovels and scoop them into their back, and then reindeer take them and they drop them off in their fucking chimneys. Right? I think that's how mail works in Canada. Because here in America, it's very regimented. We got blue suits, and we walk around. Up there, they've got, they have a puff ball on their hat. They all dress like elves. They all dress like Santa's elves because Canada's the North Pole, right? It's basically the same thing. You know what I'll bet? Michael M. Michaels and Sandra D. Sanchez, I bet they wish they could be dentists. You know what? I wish I was a dentist. I don't want to be a male person Santa. And now they have to watch out for the fucking abominable. And Yukon Cornelius will be up there. Maybe he delivers a couple of letters for those two. Oh, boy. All right, so it occurs to me it was not, well, Emily is still sponsoring this segment, folks. I don't want to back off Emily G. Although Chris W. is not, he can't be happy. He got to sponsor like 11 seconds of show, and immediately Emily horned in. You know why? Because she's done it 3 times. She can do whatever she wants. She's a Gold Club member. So she goes ahead. She comes in and she just stomps right on Chris W.'s balls. Right there. Boom. Take that, buddy. Puts the number 3 in his face, steps on his fucking pills, and then moves on with her sponsorship. Good for you, Emily. Emily G asserting herself. But now, as I say all that, it occurs to me Emily G was not the person who mentioned this to me. I was mentioning something a second ago, folks. There's a woman, Suzanne M. Why am I going to give... You know what? Why is my show now like Alcoholics Anonymous? I don't even know. It's like all these friends of Bill W. and Mike S. are enjoying the show. It's Bill W., right? Isn't that... It was... and who was it? It was William H. Macy in the movie, right? I don't know. Folks, look it up. James Woods, isn't he in the movie? I don't know. When did James Woods turn, by the way? I love James Woods. And
he became a punchline on Family Guy.
but of his own volition, he's thrilled to be on Family Guy, and he does a voice and plays a great... Because, all right, the one thing James Woods has always been able to do is make fun of himself and like kind of have a good time with it. Because, I mean, dude, look, all right, one time I was interviewed for a local newspaper. All right, yes, believe it or not. Mike Schmidt interviewed for the Naperville Sun. Because I was playing at the Funny Bone, and I used to be the house MC at the Funny Bone in Chicago. There's Funny Bones all over the place. Well, fuck it, I'll get to that in a minute. All right, so why would I even go off and spiral into something like that? It's stupid. So I got interviewed by the Naperville Sun, and they asked me, they were like, if you could be anybody, I think I've mentioned this on here. They said, if you could be anybody who you wanted to be, who would you be? I said, John Travolta. And they were like, and the guy laughed. He's like, ha, 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 whatever. And I was like, look, I like planes and I like cock. All right, no, I did not say that to him because he's a member of the press and he would have twisted that. Somehow he would have twisted that, and it would not have looked good for me. No, I said John Travolta because at the time John Travolta had just come back strong and he was making $20 million a movie, and I had just seen Phenomenon, and look, we're all aware of the fact that I think I'm 1 in a million. That I think I'm like a guy who's different from everybody else. And when I saw Phenomenon, it really kind of fucking hit me in the gut where I was like, that's me. Even though it's not. I'm not Travolta walking around fucking seeing stars and hanging out with Forrest Whitaker. That's not happening. But I did. But that was what I said because he had just made this huge comeback and he's banging Kelly Preston and he's flying jets and he's fucking rich. And I mean, at the time, it didn't seem like a bad guy to be. And at the time, things have turned. You know, once the guy went to fucking Antigua and his kid slipped in the bathtub, things kind of took a fucking southbound train. That's not good. And once he got photographed making out with a guy on a tarmac, that's bad. Did you ever see that picture?
No.
Yeah, he's kissing a guy goodbye like on the mouth, and not like hey, we're French, right? We like cheese and grassy picnics. Let's have a cheek kiss. No, it was like, hey, you need a checkup? Lonk, tongue and fucking throat. Yeah. So John's busy, and look, when you have that much magnetism, spread it around. Everybody's got holes. Why shouldn't you fill them? All right. I am siding with John Travolta. I can't help it. He gives me chills. They're multiplying. All right, so I'm losing control, folks. Anyway. So what the fuck was I talking about? Suzanne M.
You were talking about...
I was talking, I spiraled off into James Woods because he's another guy where you, like, for a while I was like, you want to be that guy. You know what I mean? Big dick, big brain, huge money. You know what I mean? It's like, why wouldn't you want to be that guy? You don't know that about him? Dude, are you kidding me? Fucking James Woods, Liam Neeson, those guys, huge hoses? Dude, all right, sadly, you want a history of Hollywood cocks? Let's all sit down and talk about it, folks. That's the name of the show this week? A History of Hollywood Cocks. No, James Woods legendary. That's the whole deal. And because Sean Young said if his brain was as big as his cock, maybe he'd be a good guy, or he'd be smart. He'd be as smart as he thinks he is. That's what it was. If his brain was as big as his cock, he'd be as smart as he thinks he is. That's what Sean Young said. And then she dressed up as Batgirl and went and hid in somebody's office. Good for you, Sean. We'll take you seriously. Or Catwoman. That's what she dressed like. Catwoman. Jesus Christ. Dude, I live in the weirdest place, and I can't break in. All these fucking psychopaths are getting jobs. I can't break in. I'm just as crazy as these motherfuckers. Give me a job. I was talking to a buddy of mine. And I was like lamenting my fucking lot in life, and I'm like, dude, how the fuck I'm banging my head against the fucking wall here. And my buddy is like, dude, you got to suck dick in this town to fucking get anywhere. And I said, show me the dick. I don't fucking care. I'm at that point. I'm a 43-year-old night watchman. Fill my mouth and give me a job. I don't fucking care. I got a bad neck from a fucking car accident, and I will work through the pain to fucking bring you what you need so you can get me what I fucking need. Jesus Christ. Show me the cock, and I'll go train seal on the whole lot of them. Yeah, it's come to that, folks. So, but yeah, James was another guy you want to be, and then all of a sudden he's in Family Guy making fun of himself, and then he's in that shark show, and he's just literally, I mean, he's so thin because all he eats is scenery. That's literally all. That's all James Woods chews and eats in his life is scenery in every movie or TV show that he's in. He just swaggers in with, you know what? That's all he is a cock in a suit. I mean, that's all James Woods is. Like, sometimes you'll say, that guy's a cock. But, I mean, I really believe that if you saw him without clothes on, he doesn't even have feet. He's just rolling on big balls. And he's just a shaft with a fucking human head on the top of it. Because that's all the guy is swagger. That guy is literally just a huge cock in a suit. And I mean, every show, so now it's informed his acting, where every single acting role that he has he's just shooting jizz all over every other actor in the fucking room by chewing up scenery and like making them look smaller because he's too big to be contained. Like when he did that television show Shark or whatever the fuck it was, I tried to watch, because I like James Woods. I like him so much I watched Bestseller and Cop and actually pretended they were good movies. I mean, which was fine. That's what I wanted to see. And also, what was the other Bestseller and Cop? What was the other one? True Defender or the I don't know what the fuck with Robert Downey Jr. was like his apprentice, and he was a lawyer. He was basically he was like William. Basically, he was playing William Kunstler, the lawyer with the long ponytail and stuff. And I mean, I watched those movies, and this is when they, because again, that's when they thought they could give James Woods starring roles in movies because he kind of grew out of being a supporting guy because he's too big to be fucking contained in a supporting role because he fills a fucking screen up. It's crazy, but unfortunately, he looks like Steve Buscemi's ugly older brother, you know what I mean, in the face, so you're just like, well, we can't make him the romantic lead, even though they had to at a certain point. But dude, if you watch Digstown, you're like, Jesus Christ, look at James Woods just being great. He's so great in Digstown. And in The Onion Field, fucking watch The Onion Field and see him be a genius. Watch Casino. Dude, he is the greatest thing in Casino because he's just a fucking scumbag. And by the way, conversely, watch Casino so you can see Don Rickles do the worst acting you've ever seen in your life when he gets hit with a telephone. There's a scene where a guy hits Don Rickles, and I don't even think he makes a noise that you wouldn't make if you were hurt. It's the kind of noise you think you're supposed to make if you're hurt. Like he gets hit and he's like, Mah! Like he turns into Humphrey Bogart and Dave Attell or Edward G. Robinson. I don't know who the fuck it was. It was just the weirdest noise. He's just like, oh, Rickles, no, please. Bring Woods in here. Let Woods play both fucking roles. I'm talking a lot about stuff. All right, so Suzanne wrote me a note. Suzanne M. And she was like, hey, I got a question. She goes, I just bought year one. So thank you, Suzanne, for your purchase. And she said, hey, what is with you in the post office? Because she heard the story where I wound up I fought two guys at the post office in year one. And then I think it may have been this year where I went to the post office and wound up in a huge row and got the wrong package and then had to go back and get the new package. And she's right. I mean, like, and I think I even wrote her back and I said, between post office and the homeless, I should never leave my house. Every third show, Christ, if I ever run into a homeless guy at the post office, forget it. Everything shuts down. I'm just going to murder him and go to jail. Oh, it's true. That's the common denominator of this show is the homeless and the post office and bad smells. And my wife. Who she's in the mix as well. So I firmly know that I have like 9 different balls in the air right now. We did James Woods. We covered that. We covered. Oh, you know what? Let's get back to this. So I got this note from Sandra D. Sanchez, and I wrote her again. I wrote bullet points and I answered. I was very funny because I'm nothing if not very funny. So she wrote me back, and she was very nice and complimentary. Read through all of my nonsense and was very cool about it. And I should let you know also, and she asked me in her long note, she asked me a lot of questions. Um, like she asked me what it was like to do really good in a room on stage. And I said it was like having sex with Leanne Rimes, I think is what I said it was. Among other things. Because again, folks, this note was very funny. I'm nothing if not funny. So she also asked me in her note if I would be on their show, if I would be a guest on their show, if I would be interviewed or at least be on the show. And apparently the two of them were going to pitch in their cash and fly me out to Canada. That is not true. But they were going to call me or what, I don't even know what it was. But they wanted me to be on the show. So at the end of the note, I wrote to Sandra and said, listen, I will do the show, but here's what I want in return. Because, folks, I'm very creepy. Here's what I said I wanted in return.
I can't wait.
Sandra is my friend on Facebook, and Sandra, like I said, is very funny. There are no pictures of Sandra on Facebook. None. She has no pictures at all on her Facebook page. None on her wall. None of her. All right. Plenty of pictures. None of her. So I wrote her, and I said, I want a picture of you. I need a picture of you because I need to know what a Canadian lesbian postwoman looks like. That's what I need to see. So I said, you need to send me a photo. Once you send me a photo, then we can go ahead and set up an interview, or I'll be on the show, whatever. That's fine. I said, but I need to know that you're invested in this enough. Because here's why I asked, okay? Because people who don't have any photos of themselves on their Facebook page generally don't want to put up photos of themselves on their Facebook page because of whatever reason. They don't like being photographed, or they don't bother sharing their visage with the world. I don't know what their choices are. But I was being a dick, and I was like, all right, well, we'll see just how badly you want to do an interview with me. So I'm like, again, how badly you want to do an interview with me, the nobody of podcasting. Honestly, who am I to make any sort of demands? Who am I to tell anybody that they need to get in line and do something like this? I'm a no one, folks. I am a non-entity. And I will tell you that this proclamation of me as a non-entity is brought to you by our good friend Lou K. from the Bay Area. Lou has gone ahead and he was the one who sponsored me telling you how much of a nobody I am. Lou actually was at the One Man. Nice to see Lou there. I told Sandra that I wanted a picture. Again, half kidding, half creepy. All right, I get that. I understand. But it was just me because, again, the tone of her note was very funny, and she's just a funny chick. So I was like, well, she'll get this. So I sent it to her, and then she wrote me back, and immediately became look. She's very nice to me anyway, but now in the note that she wrote back, she was very human, and she was like, look, I don't like being photographed. That's not my thing. I'm not a fan of it. But if that's what it will take to get you on the show, then I'll get you a photo. That's fine. And I was like, and in my head, I'm like, all right, here's what I did. Okay. I didn't answer that note. Because I've made it very clear what I'm going to need to continue opening the lines of communication with these folks. I'm going to need a photo of Sandra. So I didn't answer her. She was very nice, and she wrote me, and she's like, I'll take care of it. It's very hard for me. That she's very, and just wrote this long note, and I did not answer it because the price of doing business has been set. So a couple weeks go by, and like she doesn't write me, I don't write her, and I don't say anything, and I think actually a third week went by. And I happened to be on Facebook, and she posted something on her Facebook wall that she went to a concert or something over the weekend. And all I wrote back was, did you bring a camera to that concert? You're a jerk. Tick, tick, tick. That's all I wrote. Did you bring a camera to that concert? Tick, tick, tick. And she wrote this thing, and she wrote, oh, my God, are you really waiting for a photograph? We thought we were waiting to hear back from you. That's what she writes. To which I immediately replied, nothing. Because again, if we're having a conversation, I've made it pretty clear what needs to be put on the table in front of me for me to talk back. So I don't say anything. I should also mention Michael writes me an email saying he's really excited about doing the interview and what does he think? What do I think and what should we do? And that, I mean, he was very cool about it. And I didn't answer that email because I think my line in the sand has been drawn. Whether the tide has come in and erased it and gone back out and left no trace of it, I don't care. The bottom line is we all know what I'm going to need to proceed. I feel the need to proceed. And the price of doing business is a photograph of our friend Sandra. So I didn't answer any of their emails. I'm like, look, it's out there. I've made it very clear what I'm going to need. Again, I am a nobody. I am like, this is the kind of shit that John Travolta and James Woods should do to me. Like, because I'm doing nothing but sniffing their jock from a very close distance, and they're just going to look back at me and be like, dude, excuse me, you can't be us. And then and they can set all the demands and make fun of me all they want, but I'm no one. I'm a zero. I can't even make the top 100 in iTunes. That's right. I drop out of the top 200 periodically, but I forgot, on like Thursdays and Fridays I leap into the 80s sometimes. But the last few weeks it's been, it's hit or miss. But it doesn't matter. Who fucking cares? I'm a no one. I do a show out of a stripper's kitchen. I'm a nobody. Who the fuck am I to put any demands on people who are fans and nice people? What a jag-off. God damn it. I thought James Woods was a cock in a suit. I'm just a cock in a flannel. But not the good kind. I'm not like the kind that you want to like hug and embrace. No, I'm a jag-off. All right, so that's it. I haven't talked to him. Nothing. So time goes by, because this is over the course of the past like 6 weeks or so. Like 5 days ago, I think it was. I don't know. I open my email, and there's 4 emails from our friend Sandra, because she's only been communicating with me via Facebook. Okay, these came right to my email, and I can only assume it's because she didn't want them to fall into the wrong hands. Like, if they were sent on Facebook, she's gonna be like, "Oh my God, someone might see them, and I can't have it." But all it is in my email box. It just says, vulnerability photo number 1, vulnerability photo number 2, vulnerability photo number 3, vulnerability photo number 4. And I open up the first one, and it's a nice photo, but it's not her. She's all right. She went on a vacation somewhere. I'm not going to say where, and she took some photos on vacation. And in the first one, she's got her back to the camera, and she's doing something silly. It's a silly photo. And she writes, you know what, here's the first one I want to make, she writes a very nice note. And on the second one is a photo, and I open it up. Again, still not her face. She's doing something else on vacation, again with her back to the camera. And, writes another nice note. And then the third one, I open it up, and again, not her face. Back to the camera doing something else, a silly photo and having fun. They're all like fun. Again, they're not, she's not holding up a copy of today's newspaper with a gun to her face. They're very fun and lighthearted, fun photographs that she would probably share with her friends as well, but decided to send them to me, which was nice.
Yes, she decided
It was very nice of her to do it. I can't believe that she did it. So she's been waiting and waiting. She was just waiting for the right opportunity. Yes. So that was the third one, and then it was very nice. So then, but I will say, after the third one, in my head, I just went, I was pretty clear about the rules. I did say that I was going to need a facial photograph, because on her page previously, she'd done stuff like from the neck down, sitting in a chair, or just being silly, or holding up like a mask, or haha. But I actually wrote to her, I said, I'm going to need no coffee mug, no bullshit. I need a picture of you. Because, again, I'm very, very nice. Who am I to make these demands? An idiot. Yes, I'm a terrible person. Especially to be picking on Canadians. They don't know any better. That's weird. I mean, it's like, seriously, I mean, they're easy to trick. That's the one thing we know about Canadians. They like hot cocoa, they enjoy hockey, and they're easy to trick. And they all ride unicycles. So I open vulnerability photo number 4. I just open it, and this is a much longer note from her. And she says, all right, I know I'm an asshole, but... And then she proceeds to write this huge paragraph about how difficult it is for her to take photographs. And she wants to apologize, but she can't send me a face photo until I agree and until I do the interview with them, because she wouldn't she wouldn't be happy if she actually sent me a photograph and I fucked her over. You know what I mean? And I can't blame her. I mean, absolutely, that's fine. But I download vulnerability photo number 4, and it's her face, but she's holding something up in front of it.
I love her.
And she's like, so once you respond and you actually do our show, then I promise you, I will send you an actual photograph. And she was very nice about it. Again, she went, oh, and then I wrote her back. And I just said, all I said was, I go, look, you're not an asshole, all right? I hope you understand the spirit in which this was intended. I was being silly the entire time. You've gone above and beyond. I said, I'm happy to do the show. Let me know the whens and wheres. We'll figure it out. And I wrote her, I go, it's funny, I go, you say that because she said, I know I still owe you this or I owe you that, and I wouldn't want you to fuck me over. I wouldn't want you to leave us hanging. And so I wrote her, and I go, look, as far as you thinking that I would fuck you over, never question that I would do that. My integrity as a person or anything like that. I'm looking forward to doing the show. But I said to her, I go, I would never do that to you because I wouldn't, because A, she's extremely funny, and B, just in our correspondence, I mean, she's an extraordinary person, from what I can tell. I don't fucking know her. Who knows? So I actually wrote her, I go, there's a quote that I'll use, and I hope you understand what I mean by it. And it's in Silence of the Lambs. And it's at the end when Lecter calls at the end, and he's having an old friend for dinner, and then he says, I have no intentions on calling on you, Clarice. The world is much more interesting with you in it. And I sent that to her because, you know what? I think the world is probably a lot more interesting with her, so why would I want to burn that bridge? I mean, I've already put this poor girl through the ringer and made her take 9 photographs with obscuring her face. I picture her taking these photos. We're like, what are you doing? Some nobody in Los Angeles demanded headshots of me. So, and the thing that's funny to me is she could have taken photos of anybody and I would have bought it. Seriously. I don't know who the fuck she looks like. I mean, she could have taken pictures of a friend or sister, a cousin. She could have taken, she's a mailman. She could have gone out and, knocked on a door, special delivery. Some woman in a house comes out and goes, yes, and take a quick photo of her and fucking send that to me. I wouldn't know the difference. I would have no fucking idea. I don't know what she looks like compared to a Canadian housewife, although Canadian housewife, they have antlers, right? Don't they have antlers? I don't know how that works. But yeah, man, I don't fucking know what she looks like. She could have taken any other photo. So as much as she's worried about my integrity, about her sending me a face photo and me not doing the show, I could have worried about her integrity because then any photo I could have gotten, I would have had to live with self-doubt. But that's the thing. She and I have a mutual honesty agreement going on. So just like she realizes deep in her heart, she knows that I would never leave her hanging and I would absolutely do the show if she came through with the photos. She has to know that if she sent me fake photos, I would know about it and I would sure enough figure it out at some point, right? Wouldn't I know? I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't. I'm not smart. I'm not smart on the uptake. She could have sent me a picture of a moose and I would have been like, well, fucking Canada. Who knows? I mean, those people. Christ, they have a diet of fucking, snow and ice cream up there. I don't know what the fuck those people eat. What do they eat in the North Pole? I have no clue. What does elves eat? What did Buddy the Elf eat? Like pancakes? Kind of. It sort of is. It's like the North Pole with Toronto in it. That's all it is. It's like there's Toronto, and then Vancouver, there's Calgary, there's Montreal, and then fucking wind and snow. That's all it is. It's just this. It's the inside of a snow globe with like 4 cosmopolitan points. That's it. It's a goddamn snow globe. So look, I would never leave them hanging. I know they wouldn't leave me hanging, and because quite frankly, I can't lie. I've got to be truly honest. The world is absolutely much more interesting with her in it.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, who would win in a fight? A skirmish about skirmishes. I cannot believe we spent 15 minutes on Chef Boyardee versus the kids from Glee.
No, I know.
I mean, that's what this show's about, but still didn't get an answer.
Nope.
Speed round, steam versus smoke.
Smoke.
Steam. Winner. All right, who do you got?
Movie battles. Here's one. Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
Versus John Rambo.
Oh, yeah. Little Stallone two-way dance.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm going to take John Rambo.
Really?
Yeah. John, I say you judge a guy by the quality of his enemies, and John Rambo killed, I think, Vietnam. He killed them all.
Rocky beat Spider Rico.
I rest my case. John Rambo in a walk. All right, I'm going to go with this one. Your mom pregnant with you versus my mom pregnant with me. Tall tales and a tale of the tape on who would win in a fight on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Which trimester?
You know what I just found out, folks? You can't be naked on Facebook. Lily says her friends are all they're like naked on Facebook and then they get kicked off Facebook because Lily is a grandma and she reports them.
I don't report
All right, Lily doesn't, but somebody does. People report them, and they're like, because I guess children go to Facebook and they can see naked people, and so I was just told that you can't be naked on Facebook, which is a rule that I never even considered, didn't even think about, but it's a coincidence that Lily would bring it up now because this week, folks, just this week, I've started getting naked Facebook friends, like wanting to be friends with me, which is awesome, and I got a pic. It was like. When people want to be really, what a shock. She says they're all spam, folks. What do you think? How do you feel about it? Well, it wasn't friends. They weren't friends. I got a note. Here's what happened. Like about 10 days ago. It was actually the day after last week's podcast, so it's more like 6 days ago. It was 4 days ago, folks. Yeah, this happened in 1991. All right, so. It was. I get a note whenever I get it. Whenever one of you fine people sends me a note or wants to be my friend or invites me to an event that I could never attend because it's in fucking Boston. I enjoy that when people enjoy. They've invited all 6,000 people to come to an art show in Boston. It's like, hey, I'd love to make it, but I've never met you, and I don't like art.
I don't like art.
And also, by the way, I'm also 4,000 miles away. 4,000 seems high for me in Boston, L.A. and Boston. That's probably not 4,000, is it? If it is, that plane that was going from Boston to L.A. on 9/11 would have run out of fuel anyway at some point. So, quite frankly, if it's 4,000, yeah, that's not good. All right. Why would I bring up 9/11? Why? You know why? Because that's today. 9/11. No, it's 10. It's 11/10. All right. I was confused, like November 11, because in Europe they write it as, don't they write their date weird? So it's like 9/11/10. Yeah. No, yesterday. It was 1981.
It would be 11/9, which would have been...
Right, so it would have been 9/11, which was yesterday, because today's the 10th, as we record this, as we live and breathe. That's neither here nor there. Nobody cares about dates. Folks, I get a note, and so when you do that to me at Facebook, it comes also to my regular email to say to me, hey, guess what? Someone wants to be your friend or has a cooking exhibition that they want you to attend in Virginia. And I just got a note from two people inviting me to their 2-year-old's birthday party.
Aww.
Yeah, but it was a mass emailing. Like they emailed their entire book. So, which does that work? I mean, who's happy about the 2-year-old because then he's gonna get all the gifts, I suppose. But are they just thinking that all these people are gonna come, or was it just like a lazy reply all type of deal where they sent it to their entire address book? Which is I love the fact that I'm in their address book. I think that's fucking great. I don't know who these people are, but they've somehow, right alongside Grandma Wilson and her cousins, there's Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com lurking in the address book. Fantastic. That makes me want to go to that party. If it would have been in, if it wouldn't have been in fucking goddamn South Dakota or wherever the fuck it was, I probably would have attended. How great would that be if I showed up at some weirdo's 2-year-old birthday party? I just show up, hey, hi, I'm Mike Schmidt from the 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Where's that little tyke? Tousle his hair. Then where's the buffet? All right, so I think that'd be great. Folks, invite me to your kids' birthday parties. I'll show up, but don't ask me to do a set. Honestly, that will not be good for anybody. I won't enjoy it. The child certainly won't enjoy it. Although your cousins and your grandma absolutely will enjoy it. And any Canadian lesbians on board will really enjoy it. So, but just I do have to ask you this one thing, though. No cameras. All right, so. I don't think there's any pictures of me on Facebook either. There's all drawings of me. There's all like little Schmitty drawings. There's one picture of me? I don't even know. All right, so, folks, what was I saying?
Going to naked people on Facebook.
6 days ago, folks, I get a note. And it says, so when you send me a note on Facebook, it shows up in my regular email. And I get a note, and it says, hey, Monica Price sent you an email on Facebook. Email? She sent me an email on Facebook. And I can read it at my site and then go to Facebook and check it out. So all it said was, hello, smiley face emoticon. So I don't know who Monica Price is, but all right. So I go to Facebook and check. Well, Monica Price is only wearing her pants pulled up part way. Does that make any sense to anybody? She's topless. Here's where they got me. It wasn't like a Playboy picture. It wasn't like hardcore pornography. It was a girl in a living room. It looked like it could have been a picture somebody took on Facebook. And she was topless, and she had her pants down, and she was holding her panties down just to show you that, gee, look, I'd shaved. Hey, guess what? I got all cleaned up just for this note that said hello. With the smiley face emoticon. There should have been an I shaved emoticon. Look at that. We got to invent that, folks. We need an I shaved emoticon. You know what it would be? It would be like just like two parentheses side by side. All right, no, I can't even convey that verbally. But still, she pulled on. So she was like her with like this like kind of bashful. Like she wasn't even looking at the camera. It was almost like a candid photo, and she was pulling down her panties like, and it was a little blurry. Like it could have been through a window. You know what? Sandra might have taken that and sent it to me. I have no idea. in lieu of her photo of herself, she's like, here's me. This is me. This is what this is what I do on my Wednesdays. When you're recording your show, stupid. So yeah, I was like, Monica Price, hello. Very excited for Monica Price. So I did what anybody would do in that instance because I recognize that it's spam immediately. We all know that because you can't do that on Facebook. So I figure the first thing I need to do is immediately right click and save to desktop. I need to save this photo of Monica Price, which I do, of course, immediately. And I saved the picture for no reason, just because I like photographs. So I think we all clarified that in the first half hour of the show. Stupid. That's yeah. I took Monica Price and I put her right into my Sandra folder, and I did a little quick Photoshop, took Sandra's obscured face, put it on there. Sure, I did. Again, Sandra's a lesbian. She doesn't want. Why would I? It's just this is all wrestling, right? We're all just goofing around. We should just retake this entire segment. This is stupid. Nobody cares about naked people on Facebook. Yeah, true. Although it should be. So Monica Price naked. So I then go to Monica Price's page, of course. That was my favorite. Monica Price didn't want to be my friend. She just sent me a note, hello, just to announce her presence. So I was like, all right. So I checked out Monica Price's page, and she had it was like a blank slate, of course. She had a Twitter address that went nowhere, and but you
followed it all the way.
Goddamn right I did. I checked it out. But what made me laugh was like who bothers to do that? What is the point of putting up spam? What are you fishing for? What are you trying to get? Because they sent me a hello note. Are they hoping I'll write them back? I don't understand it. So whatever, it didn't matter. So I left Monica Price alone, and within a day she was gone. She was chased off of Facebook forever. But her image will live forever on my desktop. So that was a day later. But then that same day, like the next day, Friday, I got a note from Kelly Williams. Hello, smiley face emoticon. Let's go visit Kelly Williams. Kelly, a little more professional. She wasn't in a blurry living room pulling down her underwear. She was wearing a straight up crotchless panties matching Victoria's Secret underwear set, and in a photo taken in a bedroom.
I love that you know it's Victoria's Secret.
It has to be. Who else makes that fancy underwear? Could have been Trashy Lingerie or somebody. Could have been Fredericks. Fredericks is dead. They're dead, right? Aren't they gone? Really? They're still around? I don't care. I'll tell you, whoever's making it needs to put a crotch in those panties. Someone's taking the afternoon off. I don't get it. You finish a pair of panties in the morning. You need to put something in the middle there, friends. All right. So, although I was a fan, I mean, it's great. It's like your underwear's winking at you. It's fantastic. So there's Kelly Williams in all of her matching lingerie splendor, and I'm excited for it. And I immediately right-click to desktop. I save Kelly Williams, and I put her in my Monica Price file. And then I go to Kelly Williams' page, and Kelly Williams, of course, has a Twitter feed that goes nowhere. But here's what Kelly Williams has that Monica Price did not have. Kelly Williams has friends. She's got like 15 friends, and all of these friends are in various states of undress. Nice. So I start clicking on. So then it's horrible. Then now I'm in 8mm. I'm just fucking swimming through the filth of Facebook that I didn't even know existed, folks. I had no idea, but I started clicking on Kelly Williams' friends, and now we're getting a little crazy because these people have actual pages, and they have naked photos of themselves, and they're like Turkish or Arabian, which I know for a fact because they were naked on a carpet that was flying around. And I was, trust me, because I went to the page, and right there on the page, it said, on the Facebook wall you can post stuff. It said, I'm going to get you soon from Jafar. So I know for a fact. But it was weird because it's all in another language, but they all have like dirty, and these were hardcore porn pictures, like girls with cocks in their mouths and all this different stuff. And now I'm like going to, and it's so bad. I'm opening up 1,000 windows because I don't want to. I'm like, all right, well, this chick's got a bunch of filth, but then let's see what one of her friends has. And I open her up and I start looking at her photos, and then I open up one of her friends' pages, and it says I'm waiting for the fucking computer crash and just like a nipple to pop out of the goddamn screen. Literally, it's just gonna all fucking go down, and just a picture, blinking boob cursor is gonna happen, and fucking Steve Jobs will call me and go, "What are you doing? You just broke Facebook, you dick." And they're going to call me and bitch because you're using an Apple. What the hell? I don't need to hear from Zuckerberg. That guy's a fucking obnoxious twat.
Oh my god.
By the way, let's cover this real quick. I'll just say this. I was going to actually talk about it more. I saw The Social Network, the movie The Social Network,
Did you?
a couple of weeks ago. I saw it 3 weeks ago, maybe. Dudes, fucking fantastic movie. Fantastic. I would have, when it ended, I would have stayed and watched it again if they would have let me stay in the theater and watch it a second time in a row. I can't wait to see it again and again. It was so good, The Social Network, man. You know what? Because I haven't seen movies in forever. I've kind of stopped, as we all know, because I'm A, broke, and B, if I'm going to spend that fucking small amount of cash that I have, it better be something that I want to see. But man, Social Network was fantastic. You know what it is? It's the Citizen Kane of the internet. Like, if you watch it really is. It's because you watch Citizen Kane and it's brilliant, but it also it's obviously a much different approach. But it also has kind of a Rashomon, like all these different viewpoints of who said what, and that's what Facebook is. It's really, to me, it was the Citizen Kane of the internet when I watched it. I just thought it was fantastic, man. I loved it. You mock, that's fine. You can mock if you want, but it was really great. And then we saw The Town, which was also good. Who cares? The Town, by the way, is the touch of evil of bank heist movies. I'm just going to cheapen all of Orson Welles' career by comparing him to Ben Affleck and Mark Zuckerberg and Aaron Sorkin. All right. This is what I do. I don't go on the road anymore and do comedy. Although that's a bullshit thing to say, because if I was on the road, I'd be seeing movies. That's all I did when I was on the road. Me and fucking Brian Noonan laughing at Bad Santa in an empty theater at midnight. God damn, that was great. We were in Indianapolis watching Bad Santa, just howling. Literally me and Brian. That's it. Dude, all right, look, I got to tell you this. I miss the road. God damn, I miss doing comedy on the road. I miss everything except the doing comedy part. I mean, I love doing comedy when it's working and people are with me and stuff. I miss this is bullshit, man. I love going on the road and doing stand-up. I love that feeling. At the time, I didn't. I'm not going to lie to you, folks. I would get sick to my stomach. I would work myself up. I wouldn't even leave my room in the daytime because I'm like, I got to get ready for the show tonight. I got to learn some jokes. You know me. And even though I know the jokes, I did them last night. They worked. I'm going to do them again tonight. They're going to work. But I would always try to have new jokes and talk about local stuff and something out of the news. And if something happened, I want to have news because it was boring to me to do the same act, as you all know, as everybody knows. What I should have done is I should have honed a killer act that would have fucking worked, and then I would be getting booked in these goddamn towns. But no, that's not what I did. I'm an idiot. I got fat and had my friends bring me, and then I ruined everything by being a fucking lout. God damn it, I'm a jerk. All right, so terrible. There was nothing better when you would go into a town that was you were going to be there for 4 or 5 days, and there was a movie theater close to where you were staying, and then you would go in and do the Wednesday night show or the Thursday night show. And you would get out at 10 and go, hey, we could actually make a 10:30 movie. You know what I mean? Rush over there and it was like a huge camping trip interrupted with these unfortunate 30-minute instances where you had to address the campers. You know what I mean? It was just this, God damn it. If I just wouldn't have had to talk to the campers, I would have stayed on that camping trip forever. If I could have just showed up in towns and they would have paid me just to come, oh my God, how great would that be? Hey, we're going to put you up in a hotel and we're going to pay you to stay here for 4 days. You don't have to talk to anybody. Fantastic. I'm in. Let's do this. That's why I need to get famous, so I can just start going to places and like doing signings and bullshit like that. When they have you at a convention. What convention are they going to have me at? The creepy photograph solicitor convention? Jesus, I don't want to go to that convention. That's horrible. You know what? It's just me sitting in a photo booth waiting for anybody to pop in so I can hit play or cheese or whatever the fucking button you got to hit to get a photo taken in a goddamn photo booth. It's been a long time, folks. I have no idea what the buttons say. What would the button say? Cheese. That's stupid. That's you know what? Actually, it makes sense if you think about it, folks. I take it back. It's not stupid. It makes a perfect sense. Yeah, it's just me sitting in a booth. The guy pokes his head in and he goes, "Hey, is this the creepy photograph solicitor convention?" I said, "Yeah, hit the cheese button." Done. You want me to sign that for you? Oh, why can't people bring me to town for the creepy photograph solicitor convention? I'm the only booth. I'm the only display. I could bring myself. You know what? Quite frankly, I could bring myself to that. I could just set up a photo booth in a mall. But then we're getting creepy because then kids are poking their heads in and hitting the cheese button, and that's not good. Folks, do not let a kid hit your cheese button. Certainly not unsupervised. God, I loved going on the road. I loved it. Although it's funny because you always, it's like an old girlfriend. You know what I mean? It's like, you're with a girlfriend and everything's going great, and then everything goes to shit, and she winds up blowing 4 dudes and filming it and putting it on the internet, and then she sends it to you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Monica Price. And then 6 months go by and you're not getting laid, and you're like, oh my God, did I love Monica Price? Oh, Jesus. Why is she gone? The Sex on a Trapeze, it was fucking fantastic. And all you're doing is jerking off to Monica Price. And actually, you're so pathetic, you're jerking off to Monica Price, blowing the 4 dudes that she blew to get rid of you. Terrible. It's a terrible life. How did I get into that? Why did I go into that? Oh, so when I say I miss the road, it's like missing an old girlfriend, because as time passes and as your life does not get better, you go, oh fuck, that was really great when I was doing that, because you don't. Again, to quote our good friend Tom Kiefer, you don't know what you got till it's gone, folks. And that's how it was, man. Because I would go on the road and I would be so tense in my fucking gut, and that's why fucking Pardo hated bringing me. After a while, he's just like, dude, why? Just do your show and calm the fuck down. But I looked at it again. I've talked about this. I bored you to ad nauseum with it. It was me against the audience, but there are weeks when it was great, where I would go on and do. When you do a great show, it's fucking fantastic, and you're walking around, everybody loves you. But when you do there are weeks where you're just like, Jesus Christ. In the middle of it, you want to quit. You're just like, I can't. I was in. It's funny. I talked about the Funny Bone earlier. I worked the Funny Bone in Naperville, Illinois. I was the house MC. And as the house MC, I had certain duties. Like the reason I got this gig, I lived in Naperville, and I went down there to showcase, and I fell in with Bert Borth, who was the guy who booked it, and is a real good guy, and he wound up becoming my friend, and he thought I was funny, so he was like, well, why don't you just come on in and you can work, because I lived close by, and I always changed my material, and eventually he just wound up having me come in and MC pretty much every weekend. The only times I wouldn't MC is when I was out of town, doing shows on the road, like I was middling on the road. And I never pushed to middle. I never pushed to move up at Bert's place, because it was a steady paycheck. It was close to my house, and I was just having fun. I got along with everybody that was there. It was weird, and I will admit, I got a little freaky sometimes, because I would actually work at the Funny Bone. Like, I would show up and I would help seat people. You know what I mean? I would work the door, take tickets, seat people. We'd get the room completely filled. The music would hit, and then I would go on stage to open the show. And inevitably, there would be people who, there were regulars who knew me and knew that that's what I did. But I would get on stage, and it was a battle, because there were people who would just be like, oh, hysterical. That guy was funny at the door, and we liked him, and he was nice and charming. And then there'd be people who were like, dude, wait a minute. I paid to see a comedy show, and the fucking doorman is going up there. Like, they would get fucking attitude about it. And within fucking 4 minutes, everybody would see that I was hysterical, and everybody would back down, and everything was all fucking cheese buttons for everybody. That was great. But I, that's when I would work at the house. So the Funny Bone had a ton of different clubs. They had a bunch of clubs, and Bert, some of them were owned by one guy, some of them were owned by another guy. It was, I don't need to tell you folks, the hierarchy of any business is very hard to crack. So there were certain clubs that were run by certain guys, and Bert had ins with them. And I told Bert, I go, look, I would really like to get, because once you got in with the Funny Bones, well, fuck, you were set for life, supposedly, because you could go on the road and work all the different Funny Bones, and you would get it. It was weeks of work that you could always count on, because, folks, comedy clubs are never going to close, right? That boom's not going to end. So it was, because when I would go on the road, I was doing gigs for, an agency that was out there that would put you in. You would string together 4 nights at different hotels, and you would work in actual, showrooms and what's the phrase in a hotel? Like the hotel bar. You know what I mean? Like, they would set up a microphone and have comedy in a bowling alley or some shit like that. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. But, that's what you did to learn. You went on the road and you did that. But if you could get in with the Funny Bone, it would be glorious, because then you would get to go to a city, and you would get to stay in the same hotel, and you would be there for 4 days, and you could do shows in an actual club and eat actual chicken wings. It was fantastic. Plus, the pay was better. Everything was better. And then once you got in with the Bones, you could use that as, to say, hey, tell the improvs, hey, I work for the Bones. Can I work for the improvs? And then maybe you could work for the comedy zones down south. And then eventually you're 55 years old going, holy fuck, I'm a road comic. Which, I got to be truly honest with you, is a lot better than being 43 and going, holy shit, I'm a night watchman. God damn it. It's totally true. It's totally true. That's what I'm saying. It's at the point where I'm like, oh, holy, I fucking blew it. I blew it. I was being paid to be myself, and whether I was doing that in fucking Des Moines, Iowa, or wherever the fuck, I blew it, because I was a fucking jagoff about it, and I was like really gripped and angry and weirded out, and I didn't understand what I had. I looked at it adversely rather than trying to benefit from it. Look, we all know I've got a high opinion of myself. I was always like, fuck, I should be somewhere better. This is part of my funny bone thing. I should be doing something better. I should be doing something better. I should be doing something better. Well, fuck, why don't you just get good where you're at, and people will notice. It happens eventually. People will notice. Although I am disproving that theory right now because I've gotten pretty good at this thing, and nobody notices. So I would go on the road and I would work. So I wanted to work the funny bones, and I told Bert, is there anything you can do? And Bert had an inn in South Bend, at the South Bend, Indiana Funny Bone, which was not far from my house. I forget, like 70 miles, I don't know. And he's like, hey, I can get you in there. And what it is you'll work there for a week, and they will pass judgment on you and recommend you to the offices, to the main guys at the Funny Bone. And I said, okay. And he made a phone call, and then I called over there, and they booked me to MC a week. And again, I was the house MC in Naperville, and I didn't mind doing that because it was so close to my house and all that. But I did not want to go on the road and MC because they can get fucking local guys to do that. And I had passed that, and I was better than that. Again, folks, I'm better than that, as I keep saying over and over. But I was better than MCing in South Bend. But you also got to pay your fucking dues, and you also got to go there and do what they say. And then they see you, and folks, there's a clip on the internet about how to become a comedian. I forget how it's done, but it's these weird little, it looks like Teletubbies having a discussion, and they use these weird monotone voices. Hello, I would like to work your comedy club. And then the club owner tells them what they have to go through. It's pretty true. So if you ever want to find that clip, go find that clip, because I laughed my ass off when I saw it, because unfortunately, apparently nothing's changed since I started in 1993 doing the road. So I took the week in South Bend. And I should tell you, I was still working my day job. I was a pizza guy during the day, and they gave me plenty of time to go on the road and do stuff. But I felt stupid going to South Bend as the MC and staying there, and here's why. In South Bend, they had a condo for the comedians, which is a regular practice of clubs. They will have a condo where they put the comics up. And when you go there, that's where the middle stays, and that's where the headliner stays. And again, I think I may have mentioned you book a local MC so he doesn't have to stay in the condo. Well, I'm not local. I'm coming from Chicago. And they said, no problem, the MC can stay in the condo. You got to sleep in the living room of the condo. So that made me decide that I was not going to go the whole week. So I was going to round trip it Wednesday, round trip it Thursday, and then drive down Friday, stay Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. So I would just stay there the weekend and make it work. So I show up in South Bend on Wednesday. I drive, and make the scene, and I meet the guy who books the room or manages the room. I don't think he booked it. Again, it was really hard to tell with the bones. There was a guy named Mark Johnson who booked a lot of the bones, and I got along with Mark the few times I spoke to him. But the guy who booked or worked in South Bend was Mark Johnson's best friend. His name was Paul Lane. And I show up and I meet Paul Lane. And how do I describe Paul Lane to you folks? Imagine if James Woods was fat and booked a comedy club. All right, that's Paul Lane. One of those guys who thinks that everything he says is gold and you're a piece of shit. And you, by the way, are working for me, so you need to stand there and listen to it. And you need to take everything that I say and pretend like it's great, and I don't want to hear a fucking word from you because you're the MC. Shut the fuck up. That guy, all right? So Paul is there, and I show up and I meet Paul, and he immediately starts busting my balls. I mean, like, it's not even, there's not even a, hey, nice to meet you, we have a mutual friend, or I know this guy, or anything like that. It's, I walk in the room, and he goes, you going to change for the show? He just starts laughing in my face. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, no, you're going to change clothes for the show. And I go, oh, hilarious. I go, no, actually, I'm driving round trip. I didn't put my stuff in the condo. And he goes, I'm not kidding. You're not wearing that on my stage. And I should tell you folks what I'm wearing. I'm wearing Zubas, all right, but tasteful black Zubas. They're not like crazy garish, not great, but I'm a fat guy, so I don't wear a lot of belts. And I got a black T-shirt on, and I always have an overshirt that I wear on stage, but it's a solid green overshirt that I have at the time, and I'm wearing a Sox hat, baseball hat, And he's just like, seriously, you're not going to wear that on my stage? And I go, why? It's a button dress shirt and a pair of because they look like black slacks, but they're not. They're Zubas, but they look like black slacks. And I go, well, I didn't bring any clothes. I mean, I just kind of round tripped it. And he goes, well, I mean, if that's all you got to fucking wear tonight, then I guess that's what you'll wear. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, I'm just kidding. Come on, man. What the fuck? You can't take a joke? That's what I'm dealing with, folks. I'm talking that happens in the first 10 minutes. I'm in the goddamn club. Now, remember, I'm there on the word of a friend. I'm there hoping to get a recommendation to work all of their other clubs. And what this means, folks, is that I can't use my evil Mike Schmidt powers against this guy. I have to fucking scale it back and go ahead and just be a normal person and just nod and kind of laugh, because I think we all know that I would have wanted to eviscerate this fucking guy for taking... Come on, that's a green shirt. Green makes my eyes pop. Who the fuck do you think you are, pal? Take a close look. I look great. Odds are I didn't look great, but still, I didn't look bad. How could I look bad? I look great all the time. All right, so stupid. So I should tell you this, I got there super early, like the show's at 8:30, and because I presumed, I didn't want to be late, because again, I'm trying to make an impression that week. I left my house super early, and there was no traffic to South Bend. I thought there would be. So I got to the club at like 6:30 for an 8:30 show. So I'm just, then you got to meet the wait staff, and you got to ingratiate yourself. Again, it's a delicate balance, folks. It's a dance. You've got to be nice to everybody, because that's another story. I can't spiral off into that. We're already fucking deep into the show. So I get there at 6:30. I go sit outside and I take a look at the flyer and I see who's coming and who's going and who I'm working with this week. And I'll tell you that the middle that I'm working with is a gentleman by the name of BT. That's what he goes by, BT. And let me tell you a little bit about BT. BT is a guy I had actually worked with before on the road. As I was middling, he was headlining, because that's the thing, is he would headline those smaller rooms, and then he would come to the Funny Bone and he'd middle there. And actually, he's now like a serious headliner. Like, he works all of the places and he does really well for himself. But at the time, he may have actually taken the week as a favor too, because he probably was headlining some of the other bones. But that week he was middling. BT, I will tell you, is a guy who is muscly and black and bald. All right, BT, and crazy attractive. Like an incredibly good-looking guy with a mouth full of teeth like a great white shark. I mean, just fucking... He might have had 85 pearly white, perfectly shaped teeth. I mean, it was this incredible smile and a perfectly shaped head. And so he, like, you see people that are bald and you're like, oh, they didn't have a choice. BT was probably bald from 12 on purpose because his head looked magnificent. You know what I mean? And he realized it. Like, he caught the right angle in the mirror and he went, fuck that, I'm shaving my head. And then everybody fucked him 9 times. I mean, he's like that crazy good looking of a guy. And just gregarious. And I will tell you at the time, all right, look, BT's BT. And he's very successful and he's doing what he's doing. But at the time, he was a perfect middle guy at the Funny Bone for them, because BT was all charm. That was his whole deal. Like, his jokes were okay, but he didn't need jokes, because the second he walked on stage, everybody loved him. So he was able to pull that off. Like, you could just go, again, the middle slot is the easiest slot anyway. But BT would make it a breeze. And actually, it was a drag for me, I got to be honest, because I would bring BT on stage, and 30 minutes would go away like that. Because people loved him, people are laughing, and I would go in the back of the room, and I would just, like, sit down, and then all of a sudden he was finished, because he had just floated in on a cloud of charm and then disappeared in 30 minutes. And now I got to go fucking back on stage. God damn it, I don't want to work. Work. See what I mean? See what I mean, folks? I don't want to work. I don't want to go on stage and say, hey, here's who's coming next week. Don't forget Haywood Banks in a month, and here's your headliner. That was work that I didn't want to do. I am pathetic. So, BT is our middle that week. Our headliner, and I actually have thought about telling this story in the past. Like, when I've thought about it's come up and I've kind of breezed past it, and there's a reason why I never told the story. But I have to tell it now, even though there is this reason still exists. I do not remember the name of the headliner. And that's going to sound like a cop-out once I tell you about him. But if anything, it's even a little freeing for me, because maybe I can tell you, well, what do I care? I tell you everything about everything anyway. I don't know the name of this guy. All right, but I will tell you, this is 1995 in South Bend, Indiana, and the headliner this week is a magician. Yes, folks. And not just any magician. This is a magician who he was sort of a younger guy. He was around my age at the time. It's 95, so what am I at the time? 30? Yeah, 28, 30. He's around my age. And he was a straight boat act. I mean, he was a guy who came right off a fucking cruise ship, which may have docked right there in South Bend. And he hopped off with his steamer trunk full of fucking scarves and nonsense. So he's the headliner that week. He's a magician, and I will tell you, this is his first week headlining anywhere. I don't remember his name, but I do remember that he was billed as he had been the opening act for The Amazing Jonathan for the previous 6 months to a year, I think. He was opening for Jonathan on cruise ships, was how he billed himself. No, he might have been doing cruise ships, and then when he was on the mainland, when he wasn't in international waters, violating any number of laws by making a goat disappear, he was back in America opening for The Amazing Jonathan. And so what he was doing was he was doing what I was doing. He was trying to get work with the Funny Bones. So this was his tryout week. He was coming into headline. And so basically the people in South Bend have no idea that as they pay for their overpriced fucking jalapeno poppers and drinks and their 2 drinks and their admission price, and they use their coupon and they come in with their, their cold called telemarketing party of 20 from their office. They have no idea they're actually watching 2 job interviews that week. That's what they've paid to see. They're eating jalapeno poppers and watching 2 guys sweat out their futures. Which makes sense with why they put BT in the middle, because if anything, he was the pleasant sorbet between furiously sweating MC and furiously sweating magician, whose balls and career are on the line. So people are like, well, at least they'll enjoy that guy. That's what the show was called that week. At least you'll enjoy this guy. So I'm there at 6:30. I see the flyer. I don't know the guy. I don't know the magician. I just see his name on the flyer. And as I'm sitting in the showroom, and they're setting up, lighting candles, whatever the fuck. It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights, folks, because there's a comedy show tonight. As I'm sitting in the room and people are starting to come in, I hear, "Schmidt, get the fuck in here," which is, of course, the dulcet tones of Paul Lane. I get up, and I go in, and he goes, "Hey, you're not staying this week?" And I go, "Well, no, I'm staying on the weekend." He goes, "How's that going to work?" And I go, "Well, I'm driving here Wednesday, driving here Thursday, and then I'm leaving. I'm back and forth. Then I'm staying the weekend." He goes, "So you'll be in town Friday, Saturday, Sunday?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "All right." He goes, "I got a proposition for you." I said, "All right, what is it?" And I will tell you this first of all, folks. When I say I'm leaving, I would love to be the middle, because it would mean when I finished middling, I could get in my car and drive back to Chicago and save the 45 minutes to an hour of watching, magical job interview. But because I'm the MC, I have to stay and button the show and do all of it. So I'm in it for the haul. So he says to me, "Well, you're here for the whole show anyway. Let me make a proposition. How would you like to make an extra $50 this week?" And I said, "All right, what do I got to do?" And he's like, "I want you to run the lights and the sound for the headliner, for the magician." And folks, those of you that listen to this show realize that I barely want to do the jokes. The last thing I want to do is be fucking Moby for the fucking magician on stage. All right? I'm not Dead Mouse. I'm the fucking MC who's trying to get a goddamn job. And that job does not entail me fucking beep, beep, boom, 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 hitting fucking buttons and getting y'all ready for this. Okay? So I just look at him and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, really?" And he goes, "Yeah, $50. And he goes, "I'll throw you an extra $50 and you just run the lights and the sound, because I don't want to deal with any of that shit." And again, folks, job interview, trying to ingratiate myself, trying to make myself look good. And I just go, "Yeah, okay. Is it like a big deal? Is there a whole thing?" And he goes, "Nah, it's easy. I'll do it with you the first night. I'll stand there and I'll just show you what to do, and then you just do it." So I said, "Great, no problem." And then I will tell you this about Paul Lane. All right, Paul Lane might be a ball buster. Paul Lane might be a guy who, again, really enjoyed his kingdom of South Bend Funny Bone. But I will also tell you that he was ruthlessly efficient. I mean, he was a fucking guy who, it's funny, if you watch The Sopranos, Bobby Bacala was played by Steve Sciarippa. Steve Sciarippa was the entertainment director of the Riverside I'm sorry, the Riviera Casino in Vegas, and he was notoriously a ball buster for time, for making you do your sets, for looking good on his stage, and he was an evil fucking monster. There are guys who love him. Okay, I never had any dealings with him. All of my stuff, whenever I got booked there, it was done through a third party, so I never had to talk to fucking Bobby Bacala on the phone. But I can tell you that he would, poke his head in periodically, and he was very much, there was a clock on his stage, and you had to follow it, and all these different things. So that's what Paul Lane kind of was. But at the same time, his show was incredibly efficient. It ran like a goddamn. He was the Mussolini of fucking comedy clubs. All right, the trains ran on fucking time. So that's what Paul Lane was. I mean, he had a clipboard over there. He didn't even have to sit with me. He could just show the clipboard and tell me at what time. And it was weird to me that he had all of this from the magician, and he made the magician give it to him. Like, it was crazy. So, all right. So anyway, I agree to do it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm in. So Wednesday night, the show starts to fill up. And I will always say this. I loved doing Wednesday and Thursday shows because I loved performing for nobody. Because it was almost like a day off for me. It was like free money because I would just show up and there'd be 15 people in the audience, and I can make 15 people laugh. See, that's why this show to me is my success. I can make one person laugh. All I'm trying to do is make one person laugh. I hope the other 8,000 of you enjoy this show every week. But right now, I have one person that I got to concentrate and worry about, and that's why I like Wednesday and Thursday shows, because it wasn't a full house. I wasn't having to worry about some drunk idiot or some bachelorette party. There would be like 20, because Wednesday and Thursday, those people like comedy, or they got free passes, which is even worse. But most of them are there to like comedy, and Wednesday and Thursday, you can actually entertain them, and we're with you, and they'll let you go off on tangents, although as the MC, there are no tangents to go off on, literally, unless you're selling a drink. So the room kind of filters in. There's 25 people, 30 people, 40 people, 65 people. And I'm just sitting there watching, and the line out the door, and they're all turning in the free passes. All of them have the free passes. Because, again, the ruthlessly efficient Paul Lane just wants every seat filled so he can sell booze. That's what it's about. And he doesn't give a fuck if these people like comedy or they don't. Because that's not his job. That's my job. So these people start filling the room. BT shows up. Could not be nicer. Really fun guy. Nice man. Comes up to me, introduces himself. I get his intro, and we're talking. He asks if I know this headliner guy, and I don't. He doesn't. But the headliner guy's stuff is all over the stage. I will tell you that. He's got like a steamer trunk and a coat rack. I mean, all this bullshit that he needs for his magical nonsense. So I'm talking to BT. And we're hanging out, and I mentioned this is my first time, and I'm trying to get more work from the Bones. And he's like, "Oh man," he goes, "You know what? They really like me. I'll throw your name, and I'll recommend you and stuff." Could not have been cooler. Okay. As BT and I are talking, two blonde white girls come up and like grab his biceps, like literally. All of a sudden, you know what? It was like being in the movie Slaughter. When Jim Brown walks to the pool and all the fucking white chicks turn their head and watch him go by. I mean, literally, I was in a blaxploitation film. I was waiting for fucking Antonio Fargas to pull a knife on me. So BT winds up talking. Of course, he's done with me and immediately starts talking up these girls. And because he just has it. When he went to sleep, if you just scraped his skin and then mixed it with water and sprayed it on yourself, you'd get laid. Somehow you'd get laid just from BT skin scrapings and tap water. I mean, he had it. I don't know what the fuck it was. He probably still has it, but Jesus, did he have it? He had it in 95. He's got to still have it. You don't lose that, right? Nobody loses that. I don't know. I never had it. Holy God. I was like a fat dude who would get laid, and it would always amaze me after every time that it happened. Like in the morning, I'd just be like, holy shit, that happened. Yeah. BT's got like a fucking walking stick with blonde notches in it. Jesus Christ. He had made it his mission to bang every white girl in the Midwest. And he was well on his goddamn way. And he didn't, honestly, he might have even wanted the night off. It didn't matter. Women just fucking flocked to him. Like fucking, remora. I sucked onto his immense torso. BT's a good-looking man and charming. So I'm talking to him, and neither of us has met this magician idiot. Finally, it's like 7:45. The show starts at 8, and the room is full. I will tell you that. The fucking room is jacked. And I'm like, God damn it, it's my night off. It's fucking Wednesday. As we all know, Wednesday, always my night off. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe this fucking room is. Now I'm starting to grip. Now I'm fucking freaking out because I got to go up first and I've never been there and I don't know who they are and what they're doing. And I'm like, oh, and all that shit's creeping into my head. All the shit that kept me from being good at this. I was good at all the material part and all that, but I wasn't good at people at all. But I'm much better at them now, club owners. So BT and I are talking. It's 7:45, and we haven't seen this magical idiot. And all of a sudden, he just bursts in the door. And I would tell you, he looks just like this rag. He's shaky and sweaty. He looked like he came in and dropped all his magical stuff, and then he dove into a children's wading pool of Coke. I mean, he's just like... He's all shaky and fucking sweaty. And we're like, what is wrong with you? And he's like, oh my God, I got lost. I couldn't find the club. And we're like, well, you were here earlier. Like, all your stuff's on stage. Like, we haven't even introduced ourselves yet. But he comes bursting into the green room. And he's like, oh my God, I was lost. And he's wearing his magical clothes. He's got, and again, he's the Amazing Jonathan's opening act. So he's got black pants and black shoes and a black shirt. And he might have been wearing eye black. And he's dating Karen Black. She's on his arm. I mean, it's just fucking, he's got a baseball card of Bud Black, pitcher for the Angels. I mean, he is that guy, all right? He's coming to you from the dark side of magic. Shut the fuck up and kill yourself. So, I don't shake his hand because I do not want to get bit by a dove. And he's talking to us, and we meet him, and I can't remember his fucking name. For the life of me, I can't remember it. But I tell him that I'm going to be running his cues all week, and he makes this mortified face like, what? And I said, yeah, he asked me Paul asked me to run the cues, the sound cues and all that. And he goes, all right, come with me. I have to go over them with you. And I go, well, no, there's a pretty efficient sheet of it. Come with me. Folks, again, I'm on a job interview. So I got to follow this guy who's also on a job interview, but he's interviewing for Headliner, which is a much more prestigious position than I'm interviewing for. So I go with him and he takes me, and I tell you, you're in the office, and then there's a little square. What you do is it's almost like a little speakeasy. You know what I mean? You're waiting for someone to knock on it and go, is this your card? And then you let them in. You know what I mean? I've got to peek out and look at the stage. And he shows me, when I do this. He basically does what Paul Lane did, but certainly much less efficiently. And I go, okay, I got it, man. It's your tapes in there. Everything's all squared away because, again, you're still using tapes. And he's like, fine. So music starts, and I'm fucking so nervous. Like, it's my night off. And they introduce me. I go up on stage, and I'm like, hey, and I fucking chew it. I even more chew than is in the cheeks of every man in the audience. That's how much chew is going on. I mean, my act I should have yelled from the bottom of a spittoon. That's how much I chewed it. It just did not go well, man. Because I talk fast, and I did, at the time I was working topical, and look, we're in South Bend, all right? I mean, like, you know what they know? They know Notre Dame football and that they don't like me. That's literally the two things that they know in South Bend, Indiana. We love Notre Dame football. We don't like Mike Schmidt. And I should have known that going in, but whatever. That's fine. All I did was seal the deal on that. And I fucking bomb, and then I go ahead and I'm all right. I do okay, and nobody heckles. At least they're polite. They politely roll their eyes and cough into their hands, and I do my thing as they kind of commiserate with one another about what that big word was that I used over and over. And so then I finish up, and then I'm like, hey, you guys ready for more? Because one thing I can do, I'll tell you this: even if you hate my act, I can MC. I get people all jacked up in the beginning, and I get, I'm a good host. I get them focused and ready. I don't work the crowd. I know how to host. It's just the making them laugh part amidst the hosting that I have a problem with. Because you know why? Because I'm better than that, folks. I'm so much better than that. I need to be better than that. And also it's my night off. They expect me to do a fucking show? Whatever. So I bring BT on stage. And I will tell you, when I start to introduce him, obviously BT is well known in South Bend because there's this palpable buzz in the room as I start to give his intro. And there has never been a greater mood swing in the world than there is from me finishing to bringing BT on stage. Oh, you know what? I take that back. There is a bigger mood swing. When BT finishes and has to bring me back on stage to bring up the headliner. That is a larger mood swing. Absolutely. The disappointment was palpable. I mean, it was like being in the room when a candidate is conceding. and he's giving his concession speech and wishing his congratulations to his opponent, and just there's balloons unused up in the ceiling, and people are like, we were just having such a great time, and now it's all over? Oh no! The human Hindenburg is taking the stage again! So I got to go up on stage, and then I got to tell these folks about some very fabulous drink specials, and then I have to tell them about who's coming to town in the coming weeks. Folks, I don't know if you're aware of this. The very funny and talented Rick Patton is going to be here in South Bend. Rick Patton, but I think I told a Rick Patton story on here. If I didn't, I'll get to it another time, folks, because it's fucking horrible. All right. I must have told the Rick Patton story. I can't. All right, there's too much here. I got to stay focused. But so I go ahead and I tell everybody, oh no, not really. All right, so I tell people who's coming. Lily just showed me where we're at. That's not good. And now I'm in my head about it. Yeah, all right. It's my night off, though. I mean, it's Wednesday. It's my night off. I shouldn't be working this long. So I tell people about the drink specials, and then I bring up Magical Jones. I have to, big intro, and he's got dry ice. He's got like a smoke thing happening, and he's like, he actually does his own cue from the back with his musical star, and I'm like, oh, the magical, mystical, whatever the fuck is it, crazy long intro, of course, a typical overkill of a guy trying to prove too much. You know what I mean? It's like I can't imagine him doing all this shit on the boat because it would have sank. I mean, the guy's got he's got a steamer trunk and a fucking explode like sparklers and all sorts of bullshit, dude. You can't do that on a cruise ship. 14 Mexicans dive off the side and swim for help. God damn it. So, Mexicans don't work cruise ships, right? The Dominicans. It was 14 Dominicans. That's who it is. I don't know, but I sounded like Rickles when I said that. Dude, you can't do that on a cruise ship. 14 Mexicans jump over the side and swim for help. Oh, Rickles. Hit him with a phone. He can't act. All right, so remember that joke 40 days ago in this fucking show? So I bring up Magical, and he comes up with he essentially, mysteriously stares at people, and he does his bit, and there's music, and I got to get in the back because I got to turn off the fucking music cue and bring him out, and I got to piece everything together. So I go in the back. Paul Lane is sitting there, and just literally chewing a cigar like J. Jonah Jameson and doing paperwork, like the most joyless man on earth. If he's not busting your balls, he's working. You know what I mean? Like that kind of an asshole. Oh, I hated him. He ran his comedy, again, ruthlessly efficient, but he made as well have been a foreman on the docks. I mean, I'm serious. I kept waiting for Marlon Brando to call a strike. It was just fucking horrible, dude. I could have been a middle act. Fucking Rod Steiger. All right, so I'm starting to run the stuff for Magical Guy, and I'm running his cues, and I'm running his magic, and I'm running his tricks, and I'm not running. Well, I apologize. I'm not running his tricks. I'm running his lights and his music, which means I have to watch him, folks. I mean, I can't. Normally, you just want it to be over, and I'll watch people that are funny. You can always learn from funny people, but man, I can't learn anything from this guy, except where to hide a rabbit. I mean, honestly, I don't. And that's the thing. For all of his edge, for all of his, I open for Amazing Jonathan, and I've got knives and blades and all sorts of bullshit, and he's doing the same shit. He's doing the same thing you see a million guys do. Oh, look, a red foam ball. Oh, really? Oh, what's that, a 4 of clubs? Where'd you find that in the bottom of your shoe? Of course you did. I don't... Holy shit. I can't believe the Lord himself would put a $5 bill in an orange. I mean, honestly. This is so bad, dude. I mean, this is rudimentary Marshall Brodeen, turn the rice into water and then tap the deck and your cards on top, middle of the night, buy this set and you'll learn how to be a magic man bullshit. So I'm watching him do it, but with music. I guess if you fucking, pull a fake dove out and make it, and I will tell you this, he has a trick, folks, which we've all seen. Again, it's edgy. He makes a dove appear underneath a thing, and the dove's head is, cooing and moving, and then he takes it and he goes, all right, time to make this dove disappear, and then he slams it hard on the ground and feathers fly out of it because it's rubber, folks. See, that's the goof. And I can tell you that's much more impressive when you play Sugar Pie Honey Bunch over it. So he's doing all of that bullshit, and I'm doing the music and the lights, and I will tell you, As bad as my act was, that's how good I was at running music and lights, to the point where the Funny Bone should have hired me to be music and light guy forever, or this guy should have fucking taken me on the road, because I'm nailing it. I mean, I'm getting every cue, all the music done and out, because it's these things where you got, when he puts his hand in there, he's at stop and cold stop. I'm great at it. And he does his act, and as sweaty and as shaky as he was in the green room, you can multiply that by 2 on stage, because he looks to me like a guy who's never been in front of a crowd before. And his acts, his tricks are cheap, and he's stammering over his words. I'm watching it going, I can't believe this guy's going to be here the rest of the week. I mean, it was just, and I also can't believe 14 Mexicans didn't pitch him off the side of the goddamn ship. Those are busy Mexicans on that ship, all 14 of them. I don't know how he got through it, because he's terrible. I mean, he's really legitimately awful. Like, to the point where I'm wondering if he opened for Amazing Jonathan, then that's just because Jonathan wanted to look good. Like, he didn't want to follow anybody. This guy's the me of magicians. You know what I mean? It's like some easy guy that you can follow because nobody's going to like him. It's like, yeah, that guy's the me of magicians. So he finishes his act, and the huge fucking explosion at the end, and smoke and powder and nonsense. And he finishes. He comes in the back, and I go to split, and Pauline goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "Well, I'm going home." And he goes, No. He goes, "Stay, man. I want to talk to you guys about the show." And again, I'm on a job interview, so there's nothing I can do. So I pull up a chair, and we're commiserating. It's me and sweaty Blackstone and BT. And the meeting about the show consists of BT and Paul Lane having fun and joking around and busting each other's balls and having a great time, because obviously they're friends and they're on they've been, and 2 guys who desperately need to get these jobs sitting there and pretending to enjoy the camaraderie between BT, who did great tonight, and Paul Lane. And we just sit there nodding and like, ha, 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 ha. We don't even get to put a word in edgewise, because fucking, Magic Wilson is still freaking out about how bad it went. I mean, I can see that he's still in his own head, and I just want to fucking go home, because I got to go make pizza at 9 o'clock in the goddamn morning. And then as it's winding down, BT's talking. We have to sit there for, as the showroom clears out, we're there 45 minutes, an extra 45. And Pauline then goes, "All right, guys," he goes, "I'll see you guys tomorrow night." And we stand up, and everybody's shaking their hands, and Paul Lane comes around the desk, and he goes, "And you," and he hits me in the chest, and he goes, "You need to pick it up tomorrow night," because apparently he's my coach. Hits me in the chest, because Paul Lane was a big guy, and I'm a big guy, and I'm not made of glass. I can handle a little, the ha-ha, a little back and forth, but I got a feeling if I would have hit Paul Lane in the chest, I wouldn't be working there the next night, but that's fine. But he, because I guess we were having camaraderie and busting balls and ha-ha, except it's all one-sided. It's completely one-sided. Again, evil Mike Schmidt's in a box. So, but he hits me in the chest, and he's like, "You need to pick it up tomorrow night." I'm like, "All right." And I go out to my car, and I you know how hard it is to drive with your teeth clenched for 70 miles, folks? I mean, I've had a lot of those drives where I've been really thinking about whether or not I'm doing the right thing for a living. But sadly, all those other times I could have quit. This time I can't, because I got 4 more days of a job interview ahead of me, for Christ's sake. I can't possibly. This is make or break week. This determines everything. I can't throw in the towel yet. Evil Mike Schmidt needs to stay in the box for 4 more days. So I go home, work pizza, drive back Thursday. Same thing, BT floats in on his cloud of brilliance, and everybody loves him, and they're fucking, so happy to see him, and they should be, because he's, again, could not be nicer or more handsome. And then fucking, the magic guy comes in, and I will tell you this, he's introducing new tricks. Because he wants to show them all the stuff that he can do. And because when I get there on Thursday, he's telling Paul Lane he's got a new sheet where he's like, "Oh yeah, there's new light cue and a new sound cue here." And Paul Lane, literally, I walked in as they're discussing it, and Paul Lane just puts his hands up and just goes, "Talk to Mike." Walks away. So now I got to have a meeting with Shaky McSleight-a-hand. Great. I got to sit down and have a business meeting about how to fucking hit play and hear fucking CNC Music Factory. All right. So he gives me the briefing, and I listen to it, and he walks out, and I'm in the office, and it's just me and Paul Lane, which, as we all know at this point, means that I'm going to get bent over a chair verbally. So Paul Lane goes, "Oh, good to see you. You changed your wardrobe tonight. I like that. It's a much better look." I was wearing black pants, black shirt, and I had my green overshirt. because even though he had commented on it, and even though I'm in the middle of a job interview, and even though it probably would have made sense, fuck you. I'm wearing the same goddamn thing. It's different pants, different shirt, but they're both black. And I still got my baseball hat on, and I still brought my fucking green overshirt because I didn't sweat it to pieces the night before. So I, it was fine. And Paul starts busting my balls about my shirt and about my act and about everything else. And, I go over by the radio and I make sure all the tapes and stuff are squared away. And he's like, hey, could you sweep up in here? As long as you're taking care of everything, he goes, and, just completely, because I'm, again, nobody. I'm literally nobody. And I'm like, Paul, what do you say? So that show happens. I go up on stage and, full house again. Thursday night, they paper the room, fucking completely packed. And I don't chew it nearly as bad as I did Wednesday. But they are still just as happy to see BT arrive on his white horse and save me from myself. They're just happy that I'm done talking and he's up there smiling. That's all they're happy about. And BT does his thing and they love him. And again, it's over in the blink of an eye. And I go back up and I bring up the fucking magician. Now, I'm back there and I'm looking at the new music cues. Everything's pretty much the same except he's got a new illusion he wants to put in the middle. So this illusion requires him to he has to hit the fog machine that he's got on stage himself with his foot. And then get the fog rolling, and then I have to dim the lights, and he gives them like this speech about like a seance, and then it's that thing with the ball underneath the drape, like, are you here now, spirit? And then the ball goes up. Oh my God, kill yourself. I actually wish David Copperfield had walked in and just went, fuck this, and snapped his fingers and the guy disappeared. Like, because he's so mad. He's been sent from the Legion of Magical Heroes or whatever they have. I don't know what they have. They're all based here at the Magic Castle. And they have like a headquarters downstairs. Beep, beep, beep. We have a guy ruining the zombie ball in South Bend, Indiana. Send Copperfield. He's on a fucking jet or a carpet or something. He shows up, snaps his fingers. The Statue of Liberty appears. Everybody claps. He replaces the magician with BT. Everybody goes crazy. So he does the zombie ball, and I got to keep the lights down, and he's playing the ball in the fog, and all. It's terrible. It's just terrible, and it's lifeless. I mean, people are not into it at all because he's got patter and jokes, but he's stepping on his own lines, and he's not good. I can't believe he's in there. I really can't. I mean, he must have just said "Amazing Jonathan," and then they thought it was him and booked him. It's terrible. He's doing every pedestrian run-of-the-mill trick. So he's doing the zombie ball, and when he finishes, the whole point is as a joke, he lets it drop to the floor. Conk, conk, and it makes a noise. Ha ha, yo, it's because it's comedy and magic. And then I turn the lights up, and he makes a face like, oh, it wasn't supposed to do that. And then he scoops up the zombie ball and everything, and the fog machine's still going on. And as a joke, he goes, wow. He goes, I probably should have turned that off first, huh? Ha ha ha, everybody, yay. And then he steps on the switch to turn off the fog machine, and he tips the fog machine over, and water goes all over the stage. That was not planned. He literally goes to step on it, like, because he's so nervous, he stomps the entire thing like a giant tiddlywink. It fucking flips over and pours whatever dry ice juice is all over the goddamn stage. Oh, man. And then another buzzer goes off at the Magic Castle. Penn Jillette wakes up in a sweat, has no idea why. Magic is being bastardized in the Midwest. So he finishes his set, and it's terrible. And then afterwards, we have to have our powwow with Paul Lane. And again, it just turns into BT and Paul Lane talking about pussy, while me and Dry Ice Davis have to smell the fog of disappointment. Finishes. I stand up. I just want to get out of there because then I got to make pizza in the goddamn morning. It's Thursday. I got to go work Friday. But luckily, I get to come back Friday night and stay for a glorious 3 days. So I fucking leave, and Pauline busts my balls right out the door about my clothes, and hey, are you gonna wear that same outfit all weekend, or you can actually bring clothes with you since you're staying, right? I mean, just like that bad. And I split. I go home, and I come home and tell Karen, I'm like, oh, I can't. This is fucking horrible. So I pack and I get ready for Friday. I go up Friday. We got 3 shows, I think, Friday. Ugh. Yeah. Well, again, we say, I would kill to do 3 shows on a Friday now instead of sitting around going, fuck, I got to go protect cars tomorrow. Jesus. I loved it. I loved it when it worked, and I really did like it when it was great. It's just, man, sometimes it wasn't great. So, and by sometimes I'm mispronouncing all the time. That's a lie. It was fun. But I know I'm making it sound like fun. This particular week, not fun. So Friday I show up. I have to go first I go to the club. I don't go to the condo because I didn't get any directions from Paul. So I figured I would just go do the shows, and then afterwards I would go to wherever the condo is. So we go in, and Paul, I get the directions from him, and he's, telling me, oh, maybe I shouldn't give them to you, blah, blah, blah. He's just being a fucking pill. And I'm there with BT, and BT, I can barely see him through the rivers of pussy he has to wade through to get to the green room because, again, every white girl in Indiana is just clamoring to have their eyes blinded by the glint off of his teeth. I mean, he's that good looking. And I tell you, Friday he comes in. The other days he's dressed up like in jeans and like kind of a nice shirt. But then he comes in on the weekend. He's got a suit on Friday, and he just looks sharp. I mean, it was more of a blazer action. I mean, it just looked good. Whatever it was, he pulled it off. I don't know. I had to jerk off between shows. That's all I know. So the 3 shows Friday. Captain Illusion he's got another new trick that he wants to work in on the middle show. It was only 2 shows. I take that back. It was 2 shows. It was not 3 shows. So, but God, it seemed like 3. But I still went right to the club. And so he gives me the rundown about the new cue and the new music and all this. And I should tell you this. Whenever we go for our powwow, and Paul Lane tells me to pick it up, and Paul Lane tells me, I got to do this better, and the magic guy is like, how did I do, Paul? And Paul's like, really good. We really like what you're doing out there, and all these different things. And I know for a fact, because, again, I'm on stage. Then I'm in the office when BT is on because there's nowhere to sit out in the audience because it's full. I'm in the office when BT is on, and I'm in the office the entire time the magic guy is on because I have to run the fucking light and music cues. I know for a fact Paul Lane has not watched 1 second of the fucking show. Not one. But he tells the magic guy how good he's doing and what he's doing, and he tells me I got to pick it up. So Friday, we do the shows. Late show comes, and I do okay both shows. I actually did really good the early show, surprisingly. And then the late show I did good. Bring BT up, and BT does his BT magic. The late show, I bring up the magician, and the whole fucking lights are down, huge ominous organ, fucking ode to joy, whatever. He goes on stage. I go in the back to run the cues, and he does the dove trick. Where he pulls out the fake rubber dove and he's got it, and he pulls out the dove and it's like whatever, and he goes, let's make that disappear. Oh, you want to get cocky? 1, 2, 3. He slams the rubber dove on the stage. Feathers go everywhere. The dove bounces off the stage over his head and smashes the Funny Bone neon sign that's hanging on this fucking stage behind him. And when I say smashes, folks, I mean, have you ever seen a neon sign get smashed while it's on? The dove goes up and it hits it, and it like and there's fucking sparks and smash and glass goes flying into the fucking sides of the audience, and they like recoil in horror from the glass. And he makes this horrible face. Like, he doesn't know what the fuck to do. He's almost like, huh? What? Huh? He looks like John Belushi when they're trying to sneak into the fucking dean's office with the horse. He's like just hopping around back and forth. He has no clue what to do. The fucking dove hit the sign, and I literally, it's just, you hear this like, oh, and you hear me just go, ha-ha, because it was fucking hysterical. And I don't know what music cue to hit for cutting audience to ribbons with broken sign, so I just stand there with my thumb up my ass laughing like a jackass. Fucking glass everywhere. The dove is on the ground. He doesn't know what to do. He's hopping around and he's panicked. And then he's like, oh, hold on. And he tries to spin out of it, but he can't. And the fucking dove is just lonely on the ground, a pile of feathers. Oh, it was hysterical. The sign is like fucking sparks. Oh, dude. I can't help it. I'm dying in the back. And Paul Lane, of course, finally takes notice of the show. And he knows if I'm laughing, something's wrong. Because I haven't laughed 1 second about anything this entire fucking weekend. Paul Lane looks up, and I go, oh, Paul, you need to get out there. And he's like, what? What the fuck? And I go, Paul, the fucking Funny Bone sign just exploded. He's like, what? And he fucking pokes his head out, and you just see, the magical guy. Literally, he's got like a dustbuster. Like, that's his next trick. He's going to make all the bits of glass and the lawsuits disappear. He's trying to suck it all up. He's freaking out. He's not even moved into another trick. He's not smooth enough. And people are starting to get restless now, and someone's bleeding. I mean, it's just horrible. And I'm laughing. I'm fucking dying waiting. I'm sitting there with my finger poised, waiting to hit I Heard It Through the Grapevine. That's all I want to do. He finally spins out of it. Paul comes in just fucking swearing, furious, pissed off. And I will tell you this, if Paul's pissed off, that doesn't mean anything good for Mike Schmidt for the next fucking 25 minutes, because all he does is bitch at me, and he fucking yells at me, and it's like, dude, I'm punching buttons. All I'm doing is queuing up Motown. He's the one destroying the fucking club. You gotta be shitting me. I'm fucking Barry Gordy back here. That guy's the one with the fucking bulldozer. So he fucking goes off. He smashes the sign. He finally spins out of it, hits the fog machine, whatever the fuck he does to distract everybody. And he performs. Meanwhile, this person is cut. There's a person cut from the glass. They're helping her. The waitresses bring her in the back. And, of course, she gets 2 passes. So you get to come back and have your life threatened yet again by an amateur magician who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, armed with a rubber ducky that's lethal. Meanwhile, I'm hitting cues, busting, and I'm still laughing because it was fucking gorgeous. I saw it happen. I was watching it happen. Fucking show ends. We got to sit down for our powwow with Paul Lane. Now, I'll tell you this, too. If you ever work in a comedy club, if you're there late on Friday night and the owner or manager is still there, that's bad. I mean, they fucking take the night off and bail, but Paul Lane, again, he's fucking Patton. He's not going to fucking leave this regiment unattended, so he's there at all times. Crazy. So he sits us down for the powwow, and he fucking climbs up the ass of the magician. Finally lets him have it. He's like, what are you doing? You fucking break shit? I mean, and this guy's profusely apologizing. He's so sorry. He's never had it happen, da-da-da. And Paul's like, all right, well, we'll figure out how to pay for it. We'll get it squared away, and we have another sign. They had another Funny Bone sign in the back. I don't know, I picture it in the back in a case. They're like, in case of amateur magician breaking glass, break glass. So, we go to split. It's like fucking 11:30, I think, or 12 midnight, and Paul gives us our powwow. And it was a real quick powwow. I got off light because I had my balls busted the whole time while he was waiting for this guy. Once that guy came in, I was off. It was like literally he wanted nothing to do with me. So he kills this guy, and we go to split, and I got the condo directions, and BT's like, "Where are you coming out with us?" And I go, "Oh man, I don't." And he goes, "Come on out with us." And I'm like, all right, that's fine. My shit's in the car, but that's fine. Let's go. So we hit downtown South Bend, and it's a Notre Dame football weekend. All right, so it's packed. It's crazy packed. There's lines outside of every bar. It's just gonna be a slog. And I don't drink, but I don't mind going out. But I will tell you this: even in downtown South Bend, even with lines out the door of every single bar. There's you've heard of a get out of jail free card. There's a get into the bar free card, and its name is BT. Because I don't know how this guy did it. He knows the name of every bouncer, every bartender, every waitress in town, man. We go walking in, they're like, BT! And we skip the line. They let us all in. And we walk in, every girl gloms onto him. They're grabbing his massive legs, and they're fucking like pigeonholing him. And he's like, oh, set my boys up. And I'm nursing a drink, and the fucking magician is just standing there shaking, and he's trying to get the glass out of his hair. And I vapor trail. I draft BT. That's all I do. I like a NASCAR guy. I just get behind BT and draft him as he just rolls through a circular track of pussy that never ends. And I just watch him in action. I mean, he's like literally kisses a girl and then goes and kisses another girl. And I mean, like, not just like hey baby, how you doing? I'm talking like clunk, tongue in throat and going to work. And then girls are waiting in line to do it. It's like he should have just had a kissing booth sign. He could have made tons of dough, for Christ's sake. That guy could have been, and he should have been walking mono at that point, because he's got the whole town, literally the entire town has had a taste of BT. Every girl in town has been tongued by BT in some orifice. And we go from bar to bar, and we go all over, and he's just glad and gets us in everywhere. And we close everything, close the bars, games tomorrow. Everybody, hey, you want to go to an after party? And BT's like, nah, I got to go. And I'm like, thank God, because I don't even know where the fuck I'm going yet. So I follow them. We go back to the condo, and we pull in, and I go inside, and I finally see the condo for the first time. And I told you I'm sleeping in the living room, so I figure I'm sleeping on the couch, or I'm sleeping on a futon, which is less comfortable. No, I think I may have mentioned it earlier. I think I might have tipped it, unfortunately. I'm on a cot.
Oh, my God.
Like a roll-a-bed cot, a single, and it's just sitting in the middle of the living room. Just a cot. With no sheets, and like a thin, I'm in Gen Pop. That's where it's like literally like a fucking prison bed. I'm waiting to see if there's a toilet in the front closet they got to shit at, and everybody's gonna mock me. I mean, it's the worst because again, they don't have anybody stay there. Any MCs, no MCs sleep there. They made the arrangement for me because they were doing a nice thing, supposedly giving me an audition or whatever. And BT's got his room, and the fucking magician's got his giant room, and so I go in the condo, and it's like, I first thing I notice is I go, oh, man, because in all the condos, there's a smell sometimes or whatever. It's that kind of thing. But this looks like really nice from the outside. I don't know what it is, what the smell is. So we walk in, we turn the lights on, and I realize what the smell is. It's an open, like with a breakfast island, and there's a kitchen, and there's the living room. On the breakfast island, between the kitchen and the living room, there would be 2 rabbits in a cage. That's the smell. Fucking Mandrake has a menagerie that he's put up on the goddamn countertop with a water bottle, and he's feeding them, and they're in the living room. That's where they stay, those 2 rabbits. And I'm like, I walk in, I'm like, you gotta be, and my head, your head goes spinning. I'm like, all right, there's rabbits, and are they gonna make noises while I'm trying to fucking sleep? Like, I don't even know anything about it, but I'm beat. I mean, it's already like fucking almost 3 a.m. So I just open this cot, and I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to do it, and it's got a latch, and there's a bunch of fucking springs and deadly spikes. I'm sure that it looks like, you know what? Honestly, it looks like punji sticks with a thin mattress on top, and a bed of nails. And I opened it up. It's like, it makes this huge noise as it unfolds, and there's no fucking sheets and this thin blanket, and I want to sleep on the couch, but I'm like, oh, I don't want to be a dick about it. What if they want to stay up? I mean, and also, if I'm sleeping in the living room, we all know that I'm a late guy. I mean, I stay up pretty late. Well, I'm just going to fucking stay up all night until these fucking guys go to bed because I don't want anybody in the living room. You know, I have a fucking chat while I'm sitting there in a fucking pair of underwear trying to get some sleep. Fuck that. I don't know these guys. Plus, there's rabbits to be fed. So there's 2 rabbits in there, and we walk and we turn the lights on, and BT goes right in his room. And as he goes in his room, another rabbit comes walking out, like loose. We got free range fucking livestock in this goddamn condo. This guy's got his rabbit, 2 in the counter on a cage. No, 1 comes hopping, like walking out of his room, and his name was Ben, which cracked me up because I'm like, rats are named Ben, and I'm like, oh, dude, it had to be a joke for him. And he goes, oh, Ben, come on back in the room, and he just grabs him by that scruff, that weird like rabbit scruff, and drags him and brings him back in the bedroom and like closes the magician door. And I don't even know what the fuck's going on back there. I got no idea. I don't care. Because, right now I got my own magic trick on hand of trying to turn a fucking cot into a bed. So I fucking set it all up, and I'm ready to go. I turn off the lights. I get nowhere to put my suitcase. It's just right there in the living room. And it's just a, duffel bag. And I lay down, and I'm like, do I get undressed? No, because they're going to be in here. So I'm wearing a shirt. And I hate sleeping in clothes, folks. Take that image with you. I brought a pair of shorts to sleep in, and I'm wearing a shirt. So I lay down to go to sleep, and even though I'm still kind of vibed and wired from being outside, but I'm freaked out by like rabbits and stuff. So I just go, dude, just go to sleep. And again, I figure if I tackle this cot right away and just get to sleep, the sooner I can get up and not be in a cot anymore. So I lay down to go to sleep, and it's hard. I'm there 20 minutes, a half hour. I don't know. I finally drift off to sleep, and then I'm awakened by and knock on the door. And I don't know if it's in the bedroom or the living room, but I'm fucking out of it. And I'm sleeping. I'm not gonna get the door. They can get the door. Whoever the fuck's at the door, I don't care. And I hear voices like kind of laughing and tittering and voices. And then I hear the patio door open. They were at the front door pounding, and then went around the back to the side where the patio door is, and they slide it open. And I've got my eyes closed, and now I fucking jump up, like, because I don't know who the fuck it is. And they start laughing, and it's just 4 chicks. BT. 4 chicks looking for BT. 3:30. I don't even know what time. It's got to be 3:34 in the morning. But they know where the condo is. They slide open the patio door. They just come in. I'm there, fat fuck on a cot. I'm like, hey, hi, can I help you? Is PT here? I go, I think he's sleeping. They go, oh, okay. And they just go right to his room. They knock on the door, and I hear just a minute, and then he opens the door, and he just goes, oh, he just starts laughing. They go, hey, and they just pile into his room, and he closes the door. And I'm pretty sure it was 4 chicks. Might have been 3. It was dark. There was a lot of silhouettes. I don't know what the fuck it is. I know they're all chicks because they're giggling. And I go to sleep and drift off thinking about the magical pussy powers of BT. And I find that I nurse that feeling. And by the way, they left the patio door open. I have to get up and fucking close that. Middle of goddamn October. Oh, horrible. Like wine bottles. They're holding wine bottles. Oh, dude. So
Oh God.
I finally get to sleep. And then it's light outside and the curtains, they're not doing anything to stop the sun. And I wake up and go back to sleep, wake up, and the girls are they just come in the living room. They turn the TV on. They're just sitting on the couch watching TV, laughing. Having fun. They don't give a shit about me. I am furniture. I am literally fat-breathing furniture. And I just lay there, and I'm like, a part of me goes, you should just sit up and clean house on this motherfucker. I mean, seriously, just leave a fucking trail of dead blondes and rabbits. And I'm like, dude, you know what though, dude? You're on a job interview. I mean, it's just, you're on a job interview. So I just bite my lip, and I fucking roll through it. And Saturday passes. We watched the Notre Dame game on TV. BT went out with the girls eventually. It's like I'm just in the condo praying for everything to end. So we go to the show Saturday night. Again, 2 shows. We walk in and BT, Paul Lane's in his office, and I walk into the green room, and I walk into the office, and Paul looks up and he goes, "How was your night?" And I go, "It was okay." And he goes, "I heard you had rabbit trouble."
What?
And I go, I don't know what that means. And he goes, "I heard a bunch of rabbits showed up in the middle of the night at your place." And he just starts laughing. Like, he meant chicks. He meant the girls, I guess. Rabbit trouble. And again, there's fucking free-range rabbits in the house. He could have meant that. I don't know what the fuck. I almost want to say to him, you should come to the condo because it's a goddamn petting zoo thanks to fucking Teller. I mean, what the fuck? I half expected to wake up with a carrot in my ass. I mean, Jesus Christ. So, he just starts laughing and he busts my balls some more. And I'm just taking it. Again, evil Mike Schmidt's in a box. And I'm dealing with it. And I will tell you, this night I'm wearing my fancy Zubas. Yes, I'm wearing they're New Orleans Saints colors. They're like gold and black, but it's muted gold and black, not like crazy gold. They're like really dark muted gold and black pattern, and then black. And then I'm wearing a black silk jacket, which I used to wear all the time, which is what I was wearing the night I met my wife. And I got my baseball hat on. And I'll tell you, the reason I have my baseball hat on is because at the time, this is when I had my hair cut where it was shaved. My head was shaved all the way around the back and the sides, but on the top, it was about 10 inches long. I mean, it was like really, really, it would hang down, and I would pull it back under my hat because I liked having my hair like that, but I didn't like having hillbillies make fun of it. So I would always put it under a hat when I was on stage because it was impossible to do a joke. Seriously, it was impossible to be, and especially doing topical jokes. It was impossible to be serious about anything when I had my hair, which I guess is more a commentary on my hair than anything else, but still, I enjoyed it. So I got my baseball hat on and I walk in and I do my set for the first show and it goes okay. And then I bring BT up and I can hear him. They're simultaneously giving him blowjobs and praying to God for his very soul. That's how much they enjoy him. I go into the office, and I walk in. Paul Lane's behind the desk, and there's the ticket girl in there, too. And Paul Lane looks at me when I walk in the office, and he goes, "How are they?" I said, "They were real good." And he goes, "Well, now they are for BT." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." And I go back and I peek out the little cubby hole to see BT. He's killing, and I'm in the office. Paul's working, and Paul goes, "Mike, let me ask you something. Do you think you're a nigger?" And I go, and I'm used to getting my balls busted anyway, but this is the first time racism has made the leap. And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Do you think you're a nigger? Because you wear a baseball hat on stage. Is that like a nigger thing?" And I go, "No." And he goes, "Well, you're wearing a Sox hat. That's like that's a gang colors. I mean, so it must be a nigger thing. That's why you wear the hat, right?" He goes, "What, do you like rap and stuff?" And I'm sorry, he didn't say stuff. He said, "You like rap and shit like that?" And I go, "Well, yeah, I like rap music." And he goes, "Yeah, I fucking knew it. You think you're a nigger." And he goes, "Hey, Connie," who was the woman in the ticket office, he goes, "Mike thinks he's a nigger." And I'm like, I go, "Dude, no." I go, "I like rap music, but I wear the hat because of my hair, actually." And he goes, "Why?" And I go, "Well, my hair is really long, and if I wear it on stage, people just they bust my balls over it." He's like, "Let me see." I take my hat off, and all my hair fucking falls out. And he goes, "Oh, you don't think you're a nigger, you think you're a bitch." And I go, "Yeah, that's why I grew my hair long." He goes, "Yeah, you're just like a fucking woman." And he goes, "But if you're gonna have it like that, what's the point in putting it under the hat?" Which is actually the most sense he's made the entire week. And I said, "Because I like it, but I don't like it on stage because instead, I got to fucking fight through it. It's like 25 minutes of explaining what my fucking hair's like." And he's just like, "Oh." He goes, "So you wear that nigger baseball hat instead?" And I go, "Yep." And then we would have continued speaking. But the people from the Guinness Book of World Records came in and decided to give him an award for saying nigger the most times in a 2-minute span. It's subsequently been broken by Lil Wayne and rappers, but I mean, in 1995, Paul Lane got the plaque. And I think my favorite part is when he said Mike here thinks he's a nigger to Connie. She just goes, "Oh yeah?" Like, I mean, she's just used to it. I'm just this fucking pincushion all week. Again, I'm on a job interview. So fucking BT finishes, and the fucking magic idiot goes up on stage, and he does his thing. He sweats and shakes all through his fucking set. It's terrible. Ice, dry ice, and fog, and no Dove. And the funny part is they have a new Funny Bone sign on, but it's almost like from the 40s, like it's in black and white. It's like this horrible, like they had to go back in time. Like, they were so proud of their green and pink one that they had, and they had to lug this other one out of the fucking past. He fucking smashed it. Oh, terrible. So, the shows end on Saturday, and same thing, BT wants to go out, and I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I don't care at this point. You know what I mean? I call Karen first, and I tell her what a horrible time I'm having. We go out to same bars, same people, BT, bro hugs all around. We all go inside, and people are buying drinks for BT, ignoring his two white friends. And I should say all the white people are buying drinks for BT and ignoring his two white friends. Like, they don't know who the fuck we are and could not care less. All they know is they think I think I'm a nigger. Apparently, they all word has gotten around town because the Guinness people are there drinking Guinness, surprisingly, and or not surprisingly. Week. So I go back to the room, and it's just this nightmare of, like, I walk in and it just smells like a zoo. I'm like waiting for a goat to come fucking charging out or something, and he's got Scruffy the rabbit in his room. Ben is in there, he's got him and I got the other two rabbits on the fucking countertop who never left the condo. Unfucking believable. It dawns on me Saturday night when we get home. He's been there Wednesday, and he only does one trick with a rabbit, and it wasn't any of the rabbits in the fucking house. Ben and the two countertop rabbits don't even make the trip. They're just on vacation. They're not working. They're on vacation in the condo enjoying themselves. Meanwhile, the other fucking whatever rabbits and everything else, or the fake dove is he's pulling all the weight. Those rabbits never left the countertop. Holy shit. So Saturday we go out. I go back to the room, and I sleep on a cot. I'm just covered with. I actually cover myself with. I sleep in my clothes from the show because it's cold, and I've got that thin slip of a fucking dish towel cover over me. And we wake up Sunday. We actually have a good time Sunday. I was there because we watch football, and BT goes, "You hungry?" And I said, "Yeah." He makes a phone call, and he gets us pizza and sandwiches. It's just me and him, because the magician has not come out of his room yet. Because I'm sure he's crafting a huge illusion for that night. And BT gets on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, it's BT." He's like, "Hey, yeah, can we get he orders sausage sandwich, and then he orders it was a ham and capicola. It was like a sub grinder, and then a pizza, cheese and sausage pizza. He orders it, and a 2-liter soda. Why do you care about the menu?" Well, it's important because he orders all of this food for me and him, and the guy comes and opens the door, and it's like, BT's like, "Hey," and the guy goes, "Hey," and BT gives him a bro hug, and the guy gives him all the food, and BT puts it on the countertop, and then it's all right, and the guy's like, "Yeah," and then the guy splits. BT never paid. He is the king of South Bend, Indiana. I thought Paul Lane ran the town. BT runs the fucking town. He never paid for the food. And he called them and said, "Hey, it's BT." That's how cool this guy is. He calls. It might not. You know what? As I think about it, it might not have even been a pizza place. He might have called somebody's house. "Make me a couple of sandwiches and a pizza and bring them over." Yep. Sure thing, BT. And they fucking hauled ass over with the food. So I asked him. I go, "Hey, should I kick in?" He goes, "Nah, I got it. They never charge me." And we ate fucking sandwiches and pizza and fucking watched football and had a good Sunday. It was great. So we had an early show Sunday. And I go to the club. And Pauline calls me into his office. And he's like, all right, I just want to tell you, it's last show of the week. We're glad you came here. He goes, I know I'm supposed to make a report for you. So it all comes down to tonight. And I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. I don't say that, though, because I'm on a job interview. And I go, okay. And he goes, yeah. He goes, because I have to make a recommendation for you. And I can't say the other people's names, but Bert has another guy that he knows at the home office, and there's a guy named Al in St. Louis. And he goes, I can call these guys. I can call Mark in Des Moines. I can call, right away. He goes, I can even call them while you're on stage. He goes, so you need to do the best that you possibly can tonight. Because I'll tell you what, it's been hit or miss all week. And I won't lie, it's been hit or miss all week. All right, it definitely has. But he hasn't watched one goddamn second of it. Unless he's got some fucking weird, crazy, peephole camera that he's fucking taping the show surreptitiously and having it sent back to his lair. So I'm like, okay, great, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. It's nice to meet you, and blah, blah, blah. And so I get ready for the show, and I go up on stage Sunday night. And I will say this, light crowd. There's only like 50 people there. And I do great because there's only 50 people there. So I can be I can loosen up and be fun and go around, and I don't have to worry about entertaining the 9 drunks who are still ordering drinks in the back of the room. I don't, that's the one thing I've always had a problem with is, when it's a gigantic arena, like I said, because I never had an opening line, so I don't get them right from the beginning, and you have to really be listening to me, and I talk quickly, and in a large room, it's hard to follow sometimes. So whatever. So 50 people, wheelhouse, man, and I fucking crush it. It goes great. I do really well, to the point where when I bring up BT for the first time all week, BT feels comfortable going, Mike Schmidt, everybody. And getting me the residual applause, because he didn't, before BT, unfortunately, has to just get his mop out and clean up the fucking mess that I've left behind. Even on the shows where I thought I did good or well, immediately BT would go right into his act, which makes sense because, those are 2 shows a night. You got to really get into your act, and they just love him from the jump. So he just starts talking, and that's it. But he does, at the end of his act every night, he does say, let's bring out Mike Schmidt. Like he uses his BT powers to give me the rub. So that was great. I mean, he knew in the beginning they hated me, but he would say, here's Mike Schmidt to try to get them on board with me as he brought me back on stage. So he finishes Sunday. Like I said, the first time he says, here's Mike Schmidt. I go up and I go in the back, and the magician is talking to Paul, and they're talking about dates where the guy can come back. And I'm a little kind of frosty, I got to be honest, because this guy blows. I mean, he's fucking terrible. I got to pick it up tonight, but fucking this guy's already trying to book new dates and Paul's receptive to it. You got to be shitting me. But I stay out of it. Again, everybody's act is everybody's act, and that's fine. The one thing we do know about the magician is he doesn't think he's a nigger. So maybe he's got that going for him. So I go in the back. I get ready to run the music cues and stuff. Paul is in the back. Paul disappears. He doesn't. He's not there. He actually goes out to watch the magician. He actually goes sits in the audience. I don't know how long he's going to be out there, but thank God he's not in the office with me making fun of my pants. So the magician goes up, and he seems to be a little more confident because it may be small crowd or whatever. That's how it is. But he instead does his show calmly. Still fog, still zombie ball, does all those kinds of things. But then he adds another illusion that he's going to do. I should tell you, he's been bringing people up on stage all week. All right, and he's been having them pull a card out of his pants or, hold a piece of paper while he poured milk into it, whatever the fuck. All of that nonsense he's got going on. So this time he brings someone up on stage, and it's a guy, and it's kind of a big, burly dude. And, of course, you pick the biggest, burliest guy because you can get laughs off of him, making fun of him, calling him tiny, every other fucking cliche hack thing in the book. So he brings that guy on stage, and he's got a trick for him, and he sets up a bullseye on the stage, and it's hanging off of the mic stand. And he wants the guy, he's like, all right, you're going to throw a dart at this. And the guy's like, that's too flimsy to throw a dart at because it isn't, but that's the joke because it's not really going to happen, whatever. There's a trick. And he's being funny. He's trying to explain that there's a trick, but don't worry about it. I'm going to blindfold you. I'm going to spin you around, and then you just you'll make the dart work, and it'll be fine. Because what he does is when he puts the blindfold on him and he gets him spinning around, he goes and he switches out the fucking bullseye with a picture of was it Clinton? It was President Clinton. So he's going to throw a dart in Clinton's face. Ha ha! Everybody goes crazy. So he takes the guy and he puts a blindfold on him and he gives him the darts. And the guy's got the dart in his hand, ready to throw. And he goes, "All right, I'm going to spin you around, and don't throw the dart until I say stop. Everybody, drum roll on your tables. And I got to hit the music cue. It's also a drum roll. And he's spinning the guy around, and the guy's got a blindfold on, and he goes and he moves the bullseye, and he hangs up Clinton. And everybody starts laughing because it's Clinton. He knows Clinton's going to get right between the eyes, and he fucking spins the guy around. And he goes, "All right, are you ready?" And the guy goes, "I'm ready." And he's still spinning. And now I'm thinking the guy's going to get fucking crazy dizzy and fall off the goddamn stage because he's got him spinning for a good 15 seconds. So finally he's like, "Are you ready?" "Yes." He goes, "Are you set?" And he grabs the guy by the shoulders and positions him square so the guy can throw right at Clinton. And he goes, "All right, throw." And the guy does a fucking quarter turn and throws the dart into the fucking audience. He's fucking wobbly from spinning around so much. He squares him. He absolutely squared him up by the shoulder so he's facing Clinton. And he goes, "Go ahead." And the guy's kind of wobbly. He does just a quarter turn and bling, flings a goddamn dart into the audience. And it sticks in a fucking woman's arm right on the side of the stage. It fucking like glances, like it pokes her. It doesn't stick, unfortunately, like a cartoon where it sticks and stays, but it shoots and stabs her, and because we don't even see it happen so fast, he turns a quarter turn, whips the dart, and she goes, "Ow, goddamn!" And it stabs her in the fucking arm, and it falls onto the goddamn ground. And again, it's this weird, like, dangerous thing where everybody kind of loses their mind for a second in the audience, and I'm in the back, and I just go, "Ha ha!" Because I have no idea what Motown song goes with a stabbing. It's got to be Marvin Gaye. That's the only thing I can think. It has to be Marvin Gaye. But this woman, it went right in her arm again. She's bleeding, same side of the stage, that jinxed side of the fucking stage. A dart, it stabs her in the arm and then falls onto the ground. And she stands up, she's like, "Oh, God damn it," and stands up. You can actually see blood trailing on her arm, but like in seconds. And people are like laughing, but crying, but like sad and scared. And she's all freaked out. And the fucking magician, if you thought he was freaked out when the dove smashed the sign, now he's up on assault charges in Indiana. He just starts fucking hopping around. He doesn't know what to do. And he's got no chops. So he can't calm people down. And it's like literally, he should have just started, shooting off flash paper and like hoping people would be distracted by the goddamn flames. I mean, he loses his mind. And the fucking guy takes the blindfold off and he starts laughing and flexing his muscles like he's really cool. Like, dude, you just stabbed a chick. Calm the fuck down. Try not to own it so much. But it's just chaos. And I'm in there. I'm watching through the hole. I'm waiting to hit the music. I'm laughing. This guy's going, he's hopping around. The woman, the waitresses immediately run over with like a rag and ice. "Yeah, that's what you want, is a dirty bar rag in your goddamn stab wound." And they fucking take her in the back and they go to help her out. And the chaos and the guy's trying to calm people down. And fucking Paul Lane just walks into the office and he goes, "Never seen that before." And fucking sits down at his desk. Unflappable. The most unflappable, efficient racist I've ever worked with in my life. Just walks into the office. I'm back there because I'm waiting. I'm thinking he's going to go crazy. He's out there watching it. He just comes in. "Never seen that before." Just fucking sits down at the desk, starts doing paperwork. I would assume it would be the patron accidentally stabbed by a dart paperwork form that you need to fill out every so often at the South Bend Funny Bone. Just starts working. I'm in the back. It's chaos. I gotta hit music. Oh, dude, it was great. So he finally gets a hold of the crowd and he finishes his show. He brings out Ben or whoever the fuck. They do a trick, and again, the zombie, all of it ends. Clinton, unscathed, gets put back into the bag. That's the true crime of this whole thing, is these fucking hillbillies didn't get to see Clinton get one right between the eyes. Because, he got a blowjob. He's a bad guy. So, man, oh, man. I mean, it's fucking, show ends crazy. I mean, oh, my God, absolutely chaos. I'm laughing my ass off. I do the rest of the fucking, cue. Show ends. People can't stop talking about it. They're all outside. Magician comes into the back, and he's just like, "Paul, I'm so sorry about, I didn't even, it was like, I swear," and he goes, "I was out there. I saw it. Never seen anything like that before." Like, literally, that's all they can say. And the guy's just the magician goes outside and he goes and finds the woman and he's talking to her and they're all happy. I'm just in the room. I'm dying. I'm like, I just want to get my money and get my fucking job and get the fuck out of there. So we have to gather up all the tapes and bullshit for the fucking the magician, and he gets his stuff. And when you get paid on the road, they do it in threes, and they'll usually bring in the MC, then they'll bring in the middle, and then they bring in the headliner. Well, this time he brings in the headliner first. Me and BT are out in the main room, and BT is talking to me, and he's like, hey, so I tell him that I'm trying to get in, again, remind him that I'm trying to get in with the bone, and he's like, dude, he goes, no problem, you were great all week, and I had a great time with you, and I'll definitely call them and throw a word your way, which, quite frankly, to me is going to mean a lot more than Paul Lane's word, because this guy is, he you know what, I would much rather, instead of him calling the Funny Bone, he calls the Chamber of Commerce of South Bend, Indiana, because I think they would make me like the mayor or something, because Jesus Christ, did they love that guy. But he could not have been more accommodating or fun or good looking or nice, and got it and was nice to me and really cool. So we're talking, we're just shooting the shit out in the room, and the headliner comes out all smiles. Paul Lane backslapping, got his check, and he's like, have your guy call, we'll get you back in here in the summer, and oh ha ha, they're great. And he goes, BT, come on in here, BT, and he brings BT in, and I figured he didn't want to do 2 job interviews in a row, I suppose, and so. But the real problem is that he and BT are old pals. It's Sunday night. I just want to fucking go home. I want to get my money. BT's in the office for 25 minutes. Talking, they're laughing. I can hear him through the fucking cubby hole. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, dude, I just got to get the fuck out of here. Meanwhile, the fucking slapdick magician is packing up all of his shit into his steamer trunk and, trying not to kill somebody on his way out the door. Jesus. And he's very nice, and I wish I could remember his name, because I would tell you. I mean, as fucking horrible as he was, I would tell you his fucking name. I don't care who he is. But for the life of me, I can't remember it. I probably have the flyer somewhere in my house. If I find it, I'll tell you. But and also, I was overwhelmed by the charisma of BT. So magician's cool, and he's getting his stuff, and he was heading out. He was actually getting on a ship the next week and stuff. And 25 minutes goes by. BT walks out. Ha ha, Paul Lane, giving him a neck rub. You, good to see you, pal, and you'll be headlining next time. Good to have you here. Ha. BT walks out, and I shake hands with him. He's like, hey, I'll definitely call them this week, and I'll throw a word your way. I said, dude, thanks. Could not be nicer. He's like, all right, Schmidt, get your ass in here. So I go in there, and he's not a hillbilly. I should say that he's no Southern accent. He's just a loud, aggressive guy. So unfortunately, when I do that voice, that's what comes out. So he brings me in. He goes, have a seat. So I sit down, and he gives me my pay envelope, and he goes, I got to tell you, he goes, I didn't care for you in the beginning of the week, but you did us a favor, and you took care of all the sound and stuff, and I appreciated that. And he goes, and I told you it all came down tonight, and I got to tell you that I'm still not sure how you did. I'm gonna have to think about it. I said, okay, so like do I need to call you, or will you call the bone and they'll call me, or how does this work? And he goes, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's think about it. And he goes, he gives me like I said, he gave me my pay envelope. And I open it up, and I go, well, it was nice to meet you. Thanks. And I look at my check, and it's light. I already took less to come and MC. But it's light by the $50 I was supposed to get to run the sound and the visual light cues. So I look at my check, and I figure he's going to bump me with cash. So I wait. He's like, all right, well, nice to meet you. Take care, and da-da-da. And I go, all right. I go, I'm heading home. And I go, Paul, you're light. And he goes, what? I go, you're light. He goes, no. And he looks at it, and I without revealing the piss-poor money that they would pay for MCs, the check is right on. And he goes, no. He goes, that's what MCs make. He goes, you took an MC job because you came here and you wanted to get, that was your whole deal. I go, yeah, Paul, I understand that. I go, but you told me at the beginning of the week that if I did the music cues and the light cues, you'd spiff me $50. And he's like, what? I said, you told me, because otherwise you would have had to do it, you said, but you wanted me to work for the magician guy. And he goes, well, no, he's got to pay you that. I go, Paul, he didn't hire me to do that. You told me to do it, and you said you would spiff me $50. And he goes, and you're going to make me give you $50. I said, Paul, all week you asked me to do it. I did it. I said, I'm not trying to be a hard on here. I go, but you did tell me at the beginning of the week if I did it, you would pay me. And I'm not trying to make us think about it. I mean, that's fine. But you were the one who brought it up. I didn't ask for it. And he goes, huh. All right, $50 is worth that much to you. Goes in his own pocket, pulls out, I'm going to say, a Fabergé egg size wad of money with fucking 3 rubber bands around it. Flips through the hundreds, the 50s, the fucking 20s, and he gets to the 10s, he flips, and then 5s, and he gives me 20 singles, 2 5s, and a 20. And he goes, and he crumbles it in his hand, like, put your hand out, and he just goes, there's your $50. Puts it in my hand. And again, normally I wouldn't have asked, all right? But I had gotten my balls busted all week, and I had gone back and forth Wednesday and Thursday. Gas, I mean, at the time, gas wasn't crazy, but $50 would have paid for my gas for the week. So he goes, here's your $50. Fucking slaps it into my hand. And I said, well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. He goes, yeah, get the fuck out of here. So I walk out and drive home teeth clenched for 70 miles because I wanted to fucking climb down his fucking throat. But I knew asking for the $50 was going to cost me, and it did, because Paul Lane called the Funny Bone people and told them not to book me in any of their clubs because I was not good. And I was not worth hiring, even as an MC. Because I apparently had the temerity to ask for $50. Meanwhile, the headliner almost murdered 2 people. And he was booked to come back in the summer. So instead of asking for that $50, maybe I should have just fucking stabbed Paul Lane in the heart with a letter opener. And I would have had a better chance of coming back to that fucking piece of shit club. But I knew it when I asked it, and I saw his face sink. Like, he didn't think I was going to ask for it. He thought, because you know why? I ate shit all week, and I did it on purpose because I was trying to get a gig, but it was finally the final indignity. Dude, you're not going to fucking ice me out of $50. You had sold out fucking shows, you know. Don't, $50, honestly? You got to bust my balls with racist fucking slang. I sleep on a goddamn piece of shit cot. I got to deal with fucking tramps sneaking in the middle of the night to bang the middle act who, you know, I'm trying to get his fucking job. Free range fucking chickens and bullshit in the goddamn house. I'm fucking sleeping in a room with fucking, you know, not Michael Jordan and Dr. Doolittle. That's who I'm in a goddamn condominium with. Because a bald black guy in the Midwest, he's just got all the fake Jordan cred, and he's going to fucking rail everything in goddamn town. Meanwhile, the other dude is too busy fucking scattering corn to notice that he almost killed 2 fucking people that week. But you're going to send me on my fucking way with a fucking smirk and no $50 and then make sure I never work those fucking clubs again? Fuck you, dude. Unbelievable. Longest fucking ride home of my life, because the whole time I had one foot on the brake wondering if I should just fucking do a U-turn and go back and kick the fuck out of that guy. God, I hated him. But he, true to his word, I never worked the bone. Never worked again. I had already had 1 week scheduled in Des Moines, and that was with his friend Mark Johnson, who, to his credit, did not bump me or try to get out of it because I'd already had it scheduled on the books. But I never got a gig at the Funny Bones ever again, except for the one that my friend Bert booked in Naperville. And it's funny, I was reminded of this story because Lily lives with Eddie, who's a clown, and also a magician. And a month ago, I was here and there was a fake dove on the ground. The exact same fake dove that you put your finger in the bottom and you move its head and then you slam it in the ground and feathers go all over the fucking place. And I saw it to Lily like a month ago, 6 weeks ago maybe. And I said, oh, dude, I go, you got to remind me. I have a story about that dove. And she's like, what? I go, it's a magic story. Remind me to tell you about the magic show. And she says, okay. So that week I go online to find Paul Lane because I need to know what's the consequences. And I'm not lying to you folks. 2 days before I went and Googled him, Paul Lane died. He was out jogging or something in Iowa. He still worked for the Funny Bone and wound up having to pass away. And so, I mean, it made me weird about telling this story because, I mean, you know, obviously he's not around to defend himself. Not that he would anyway. Who fucking knows? But, I mean, regardless of how he treated me, Obviously he ran his business very well. If he was still there, Christ, 15 years later, he had been promoted. He was working at, a different club, and there were many people online who had great things to say about him. And I'm sure he has a family, and they miss him, and I'm sure it's a terrible thing for them that this has happened. But the good news is I'm right back in the mix for middling at the Funny Bone, baby. The curse is lifted. You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40yearoldboy. You can follow me on Twitter.com/the40yearoldboy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp at Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. Be her friend at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can follow her at Twitter.com/MNTs. And if you want to write her a personal note, if you'd like to know exactly how she sits on a chair and stares at me as I talk for fucking 9 hours, go ahead and write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40yearold boy. Please buy all his stuff.
I want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night in Hollywood, California, on the corner of Santa Monica and Vine at the 3 Clubs, 10 o'clock every Monday night. Hey, Lily Von Stupp.
Hello, Michael Schmidt.
You produce my show and you produce the Monday Night Teas. What's coming up at this week's Monday Night Teas?
The Muppet of Burlesque show. Yay!
Oh, the Muppet of Burlesque show. Folks, I've been involved in that show. It's fantastic. There's Naked Women and Muppets, which is, I think, all of our dreams from the ages of 9 to 13. So that's good news. And you are you involved?
I am not, unfortunately.
But you'll be there working the door.
I'll
And
be there working the door.
will Bad Knee be involved?
No.
No, Bad Knee is not coming to the show? All right. Well, that's good, though, the Muppet Show of Burlesque. And tickets are available at Brown Paper Tickets, are they? Or,
Yes, they are.
because that show sells out.
Yes, it does.
There's a few seats left available at brownpapertickets.com. Again, if you follow Lily at twitter.com/MNTs, you will go ahead and get all the information regarding that week's MNTs. And I can tell you this about this week's MNTs. It's the Burlesque Show. How many dancers are there probably? Just a rough estimate?
There will be 8 live performers and 1 on DVD, probably.
8 live performers, 1 on DVD. Show starts at 10 o'clock, and I guarantee you that show will be shorter than this podcast. Man, folks. Crazy. All right, so please remember to go to the Monday Night Teas show. It's going to be fantastic. The Muppet Show of Burlesque, or the Muppets of Burlesque. Muppet of Burlesque?
The Muppet of Burlesque show.
Muppet of Burlesque show. I'm sorry about that. Don't forget to go to burlesquebears.com and get your Thanksgiving bear. Because I think we all remember when we were kids, we had all been told the tale of Squanto when he was eaten by a bear. And the Pilgrims, and they would have maize with the Indians, and then Sacagawea fought a bear. So go to burlesquebears.com and get yourself all of the Burlesque Bear needs that you need for Thanksgiving, filled by our friend Lily Von Stupp. Don't forget to go to Facebook.com, go to the Westside 86 Jokers page. That's the Mike Schmidt fan club page, which actually started anew and disbanded in the 3 hours that this show has taken for you to listen to. Don't forget to go to also at Facebook.com. There's the Bring Mike Schmidt to Phoenix page, Bring Mike Schmidt to Portland, Bring Mike Schmidt to Austin, Texas, and Bring Mike Schmidt to the Ozarks, which is Branson, Missouri. Our friends John and Chris and Steven and Josh are running those pages. So go ahead and sign up and let me know whether it's okay for me to come to your town and talk for 2.5 hours rather than just talk to you through the internet. I can't hype. It's so funny. Again, it's a self-defeating prophecy because I can't imagine why it's gone this long. And then as I ponder that, I make it fucking longer. All right. Remember that the Zazzle store is open with all of our merchandise. Remember that year 1 and year 2 download sets are available. You can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the Joe Business page and get links to both Zazzle and also the year 1 and year 2 download sets. And also, if you would like to donate to the show, as I mentioned, some people who've sponsored have, you can donate to the show at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Upper left-hand corner of every single page, there's a little Schmitty with his pocket out. Go ahead and fill that pocket with anything that you would like to fill it with, unless that is, of course, pudding. He does not like pudding in his pants. I know this by talking to him. He's explained that to me. I'm dumb. All right. Don't forget to go to realworldfit.com. If you're looking for a trainer, my friend Sean Richardson is there. And go to twitter.com/realworldfit.com and follow them. And as they talk about slosh pipes and hopping around and throwing a rock. And also wanted to tell you about our friend Rob Matsushita. Remember, Rob Matsushita is a filmmaker at ClaymorePictures.net. He has done trailers for this show out of the kindness of his heart. So why don't you go ahead and check out his stuff, his web series Chapel, and all of his upcoming films and plans. Go check out Rob Matsushita at ClaymorePictures.net and find out all you can about him. And now, I'm going to go downstairs where my wife sleeps in a car. My wife has been waiting for me downstairs because, folks, something that happened a few weeks ago that I can't talk about, as I think I've mentioned several times. And because of that, I am down to one car. We're a one-car family. And you know what? Only part of that is true. We are definitely one car. Not so sure about the family part anymore, as my wife's been sleeping in a car downstairs waiting for me to finish the longest podcast on earth. But that's okay, because now we go and we hit, you know what I do? She gets all pissed off and she's mad, and I stop and I get her a McRib and I pacify her. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop at McDonald's, get her a McRib. And it's, again, it's the dichotomy of my life, folks. Last night, I was at Animal. That's right. I was at Animal Restaurant on Fairfax, and I was knee-deep in organ meats, man. I was eating fucking, I had, what did I have? Chicken liver toast, and I had a hamachi tostada, and I had a pork belly slider. Holy shit, I had fried quail with grits. That's right, the top of the top. And then today, I go eat a fucking pig's ass on a bun with barbecue sauce all over it. Because that's the kind of thing I do, folks. I go from fucking 12 to 6. That's how I am. I go north to south. I can turn on a goddamn dime and do a 180. One night I'm knee-deep in organ meats. The next night I'm knee-deep in organ meats. Because that's, let's be honest, that's what's in a goddamn McRib. Seriously. It's just like curly fucking tails and a pig eye. And that's all I'm going to eat because it's pressed into the shape of ribs and they covered it with the sauce that honestly I would eat a cock if it was covered in this goddamn sauce. And let's be honest, again with the McRib, I probably am. But I can't eat a pig cock though, because it's like, isn't it like a curly, isn't it like a weird spinny harpoony looking thing? Yeah, a fucking pig cock is like a party favor. That's not good. It's like that game, remember when kids would have that, they would tilt it and like, the ball would spin down the little twirly thing? That's what a pig cock is like. I think in the 20s, kids would play with a pig cock as their parents were out selling pencils and apples on the goddamn side of the street. That's how poor these people were. Holy shit. Buy a pencil and an apple for me so my kid doesn't have to play with a pig cock all day long. What's wrong with you, you selfish bastards? Holy God, I lost 2 kids alone this week being crushed by falling stockbrokers. Can't you buy a goddamn apple and a pencil so my kid can put this pig cock down and go to college like the rest of the fucking Americans? Jesus Christ. How can you not have a bone in your body that would feel bad for all of my family here on the side of a street selling pencils and apples and fucking playing with pig cocks and getting crushed by falling men in 3-piece suits? Holy shit. What the fuck? Why do I spit out this random bullshit that nobody fucking cares about? I am peddling obscenity. I am going to get a whole fucking army of you people, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to listen to me and then do nothing for an entire fucking week. I can't be trusted. Don't you people know this? It was like the Back to the Future of suck. I don't want to have a boner in somebody else's pants. I need to shoot up heroin and jog. Hey, ass fuck, are you listening to anything that I'm saying to you? Fuck, somebody's got to shut that old guy up. And I'm like, fuck you! I'm not a potato! I'm a goddamn cantaloupe! Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike.